Will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces his way into the end zone. Touchdown!
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Middle of the day, still cool out there. Much cooler today than yesterday. High temperatures this afternoon in the 60s, mix of clouds and sun. Small rain chance overnight into Wednesday morning with lows eventually in the 40s again. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is down 263 points to 42,802. Market update brought to you by Zero Res. Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned with Zero Res starting at just $119 and get a free dryer cleaning with the purchase of an air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResRaleigh.com. Again, ZeroResRaleigh.com.
Here's the snap. Play fake. Dalton boots to his right. Throws downfield. Intercepted. Picked off by A.J. Terrell.
Leaves it to the right. Batted up into the air. It's intercepted. Off to the races. This is Barron. Far sideline 50. Orange have the
Third
ball.
and goal from the 9. Criswell looking left. Throws right. And through the hands of Copenhaver in the end zone. Incomplete.
Tampa will win the draw. They'll keep it. Kucherov hammers it and scores.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing as always. It has become apparent we cannot ignore one of the conversations that I do my best to avoid because it's coming in our direction from all angles. I don't like talking about coach job security. I'm just letting you in on how I operate. I don't like talking about coaching. I don't like calling for people's jobs. I'll say you need to do this better. I'll say you need to do this better in order to improve your team. I don't love the so-and-so deserves to get fired. Actually, let me go back. I don't mind saying that if it's something, like heinous or they're a bad person.
Yeah, something egregious.
But if it is something like you're not good enough on third downs, I don't like calling for jobs. I'll just try to talk about how I can be better at third downs. But the way we try to listen to listeners, right? The way we try to make sure we're hearing what the fan bases are saying, the fans of multiple teams that we cover are maybe not full force, but there's a loud vocal minority of fans that are calling for head coaches and prominent assistants to be fired. And I just want to make sure we understand what we're doing here. First of all, the coach is under fire. Mack Brown. We've opened up the phone lines the last few weeks on Mondays. We've had more than our fair share of callers say he needs to go. Dave Doeren, there were chants in the stands. There were people that were not happy with the way NC State's been playing this season.
And leaving the game, too.
Ejiro Evero, even if it is not Canales, coordinators get called out as well. His defense is did some research in here. They are on pace to be the worst defense in NFL history. From a pure points allowed over the entirety of the game, raw total, on pace to be the worst in NFL history. If you want to go, they used to play less games, that's fine. If you take it down to points per game, right now they are giving up 33.8 points per game, the Panthers are. That is good enough for second worst all time in NFL history. So there's 3 guys that I've heard quite a bit of this fired word being thrown around, and I get it. All right. I like I said, I don't like having these conversations. I think it's weird. I wouldn't like if people were talking about my job security or someone I know's job security, but we're here, and when it's attacking us from all angles, I think we need to address it. Part of the reason I don't like talking about it is because I am almost never in favor of firing a coach midseason. Unless he has completely and totally lost the locker room. Like, he sets a rule, no eating in meetings, and people are walking in with bags of crinkly chips just to make sure he knows they're eating in meetings. Like, unless you're that kind of lost, I'm almost never in favor of firing a coach midseason. Off-season, handle your business. Do what you got to do. Off-season, if you got to move on from a guy, you got to move on from a guy. But here's why I'm almost never in favor of it. If you're considering it, your season is probably already gone. No one ever thinks, it's not like benching a running back or something. No one ever thinks, hey, our season started slightly slower than we hope, but I think we can turn it around with a coaching change. It's always, this season is so embarrassing. It's so frustrating. They're so far below expectations. We have to change the coach. And I just don't think that helps the matter. Do you know how many NFL teams, and we'll just use NFL teams because it's more obvious. Do you know how many NFL teams have made the playoffs after a midseason coaching change? None. Jets are going to try. None. Then you have to think of the players. And I think that's why it bothers me so much. Because, I consider myself the lead activist for players' rights. Who did these players commit to? Who did they sign up to play for? Who did they want to play for? Especially in college. I don't think Mack Brown or Dave Doeren have lost the locker room. I don't think they've lost the commitment of their players. So ride it out with that, whatever metaphor you want to use. My playing career, we used to call it the seasoned submarine, right? You go down into that submarine, it's only the people in there. No ins, no outs. Let them finish. You only get 4 years of eligibility, 4.5-ish. COVID, 25 years. I don't remember. 4 years of eligibility is kind of what it's supposed to be. A midseason change ruins one of those. So basically what I'm saying is, for the fans out there, and we hear you, and I want to acknowledge that you're frustrated, and I'm sure it feels good to, like, I want my repercussions. I want somebody to pay for me having to watch that on Saturday, for me having to get made fun of by my buddies on Sunday. Like, I get that you want something, but I'm big on this question. What does it accomplish? My wife sometimes gets mad at me because something will happen, and not mad at me, but she looks at me confused. If something happens, she's like, why aren't you mad? And I'm like, what does it accomplish? Right? Me getting mad at that person, does it fix the situation I'm in? I literally say the terms, what does it accomplish? Firing your coach, what does it accomplish other than making you feel good? It's like punching the wall. What does it accomplish other than you got that energy out? Put a hole in the drywall? Awesome. What did it accomplish? Gave you a chore for next weekend. You got to go patch it.
That's true.
So I'm fine with demanding change. I'm fine with being frustrated that game after game looks the same. It's just I don't think the firing thing gets to where you want to go. Off season, that's when the hard conversations happen. If you want to call for your coach's job in the off season, again, it's not something I'm super excited to discuss, but we can have those conversations. Does the program need to go in a different avenue? Does it need to go in a different direction? Sure. But in season, unless they have completely lost the locker room, in which case it is addition by subtraction. You can get guys bought in and playing hard once again with, the beloved tight end coach that you promote to interim head coach who is more motivator than X's and O's CEO, right? If you want to do that, we can have that conversation. I've seen that work. But if you have two coaches or a coach or a coordinator that the room still respects, very rarely do I see that working out for you. As a matter of fact, we'll use the Jets as an example. Robert Saleh gets fired. Sauce. Got my food nicknames confused. Sauce Gardner was like, nah, to be honest with you, I'm still playing for Coach Saleh. And then what happened? The Jets had a very similar loss to the losses they've been suffering where there's flashes and it doesn't end up working out. Matter of fact, the offense actually looked a lot better. Defense looked worse, and that's where Saleh had his expertise.
Go figure.
Go figure.
By the way, Aaron points out on our YouTube live chat, Rich Bisaccia made the playoffs with the Raiders back in 2021.
You're right.
Yeah.
I guess I have to go check my source on that one. But good fact check there.
Yeah. I forgot about that one too because they went to Josh McDaniels.
Maybe that was it. I read the stats.
They got to the playoffs, lost in the in the wild card round.
I'll double check that. But thank you for keeping me honest. I think it must have been one a playoff, but I'll double check that during the commercial break.
Nonetheless, few and far between.
Exactly, and ironically, they didn't roll with Bisaccia there, and they did roll
two head coaches later.
They did roll with Pierce, and that one's not looking the best. But that's neither here nor there. My point, and actually, you could argue that was one of those separate cases I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that whole situation was a crazy one. Obviously, Gruden with the money and everything, he wasn't fired for football reasons.
Yeah, he
was fired for other reasons. And I don't see other reasons coming into play for any of the guys we've mentioned. They all seem like upstanding individuals. It's if you want to do it, obviously I can't tell you what to do or what not to do. I just don't know if it's going to reach the result that you're hoping for. A lost season is a lot of times a lost season. And changing the captain of the ship just means you're sinking with a different guy holding the wheel. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are going to take a break here, but when we come back, there's a Canes game tonight. Looking for the first win of the season. Hockey night in Carolina. New Jersey coming right here to Raleigh. Devils are cruising 4-1 and playing well. What does that game bring to our doorstep? It's coming up next. Stick around.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Carrier to it, stalls in front. Carrier rips it. They score! Oh, captain, my captain! It's 1-0 Carolina.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Now back to Slavin. He shot right on. Rebounds out in front. Chance out front. They score! Here come the Hats!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Get hot and spicy patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow, yeah, McDonald's don't miss, yeah. On the app or the drive-thru quick, yeah. $5, that's some deal, yeah. I got McDonald's money.
At participating McDonald's.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending in Cary. Now that the Fed has finally begun their path of rate cuts, trying to decide when to finance becomes very challenging. Do I lock now? Do I wait? At Miller Lending, we offer a solution to the question of timing with our popular no closing cost program. With no fees charged or added to your loan amount, you simply close on today's rates free of charge and refinance any time rates fall. Having done our first no-cost loan all the way back in 1987, we've now funded over $10 billion in no-cost mortgages, saving our customers thousands of dollars in needless fees. Lately, we've seen a trend of even higher closing costs as borrowers chase rates only to see them drop considerably 4 months later. So whether you're purchasing a new home or simply refinancing the home you're in, why not call Miller Lending and say goodbye to closing costs forever? 919-447-3377 or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $200 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bet. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply.
It's truck season at John Heister Chevrolet, and we're sweetening the Silverado deal for you. Right now, you can get that 24 Silverado 1500 LTZ you've been wanting for up to $15,000 off when you trade in a 2010 or newer car or light-duty vehicle, including 3/4 and 1-ton pickups and vans. Up to $15,000 off a brand new 24 Silverado 1500 LTZ. See dealer for details. Get off your keister and get to John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Arena. Together, let's drive.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Carrier to it, stalls in front. Carrier rips it. They score! Oh, captain, my captain! It's 1-0 Carolina on Jordan Stahl's first of the year.
That was fun while it lasted. That was the first of the year for the Carolina Hurricanes.
And the only.
Club Lenovo music, by the way, going Lenovo Center, playing as we speak. It was the first and the only. It was the lead, and then it was gone. But luckily, they've only played one game, so there's a few more to play, including tonight. The Devils come to town, New Jersey Devils. They are cruising.
Yeah, well, it helps that you've played 5 games already.
The NHL, and I know this one's a little unusual. They played in like Prague or something to start the season a week ago, and obviously Carolina had the game canceled that was scheduled for, or postponed, that was scheduled in Tampa due to Hurricane Milton. So there's a little bit of special circumstances here. But a team that's 4-1 playing against a team that's 0-1, and the 4-1 team has played yesterday. The 0-1 team is coming off a little bit of a break. It's just weird. And it's probably not an apples-to-apples comparison, probably not teams in the same situation. But still, nobody cares. Work harder. The Canes are going to have to go into that game and overcome whatever rhythm obstacles or rust that they still have that the Devils don't. And it's an opportunity for someone to step up. Pyotr Kochetkov is going to be in net. Rod Brindamore told the media earlier today. Chance for him to walk in and make a statement. Right? Chance for him to walk in and get the first win of the year. Chance for an Aho, a Jarvis, a Svetch, somebody to go out there and make the first very loud statement of the season. I didn't pick those guys randomly. Obviously, all power play 1 guys. Rod Brindamore on what he wants to see from the power play.
It's execution. That's what special teams comes down to. Everybody has the plan. Everybody knows what the other team's doing. Everybody knows what you're doing. Okay, you still got to stop it, and you still got to be. The pass has got to be right. You got to get it to the right guys. You got to understand where the pressure's coming from. You got to be one step ahead. I think when the penalty kill is good, they're one step ahead. When the power play is good, the power play is one step ahead, and then obviously that's what you see.
Obviously, that's what you see. Just need execution. Special teams weren't the highlight of the first game, but I'm not going to make wholesale sweeping changes or wholesale sweeping opinions about one game. You gave up 2 power play goals. I'm not going to sit here and go, on pace to give up 160 some odd. I'm not going to do that, even though it's true. Even though you are on pace to give up a bananas amount of power play goals. It is a chance to restart, right? And with the actual, a bigger gap than normal between games, it can really feel like you're restarting the season now and going forward. So I'm looking forward to tonight. I'm almost going to wipe the slate clean, shake the Etch-a-Sketch, and go, all right, let's go again. With that being said, Stefan Nason is going to be on the opposing team's bench.
Dude's on fire right now, by the way.
Zoolander, Hansel, he's so hot right now.
Yeah.
Stefan Nason's returning to Carolina. The first of many returns this year. Okay, and Brett Pesce is obviously on the Devils, but he's week to week, hasn't played yet, so he's not going to be out there on the ice. But you look at all of the players that they had to move on from. Jake Gensel already came back, but that's in a different category. Stefan Nason, there's going to be Brady Shea. We mentioned Brett Pesce, like all of Teuvo Teravainen, all of these guys that are going to be coming back. You know how I feel, and I hope some of you remember because I've made it very obvious. I hate tributes. Don't put them up on the Jumbotron. Don't treat him like some kind of returning, conquering hero. Nason, for all the good he did in years past for the Carolina Hurricanes, he has 1 goal today, and it's to try to start the Canes off 0-2. That's what it is. And if there's anything we know about Steph Nason from the time we spent with him, is he's willing to do the dirty work, the winning plays that are going to help his team win. So he's now putting in the dirty work, the winning plays to try to make your team lose, Canes fans. Look at that. Rattle him if you can, Canes fans. Boo him if you can, Canes fans. He is a part of the other team. And Dennis ain't lying. He's been playing lights out.
Believe it or not, he actually scored the very first goal of the NHL season in that overseas games over in Prague. He scored the first goal of the first game, and he also scored last night.
He has not slowed down. He's got 6 points through 5 games.
Yeah.
I went back and looked. I didn't go to his whole career with the Canes, but I looked at last season. Last season for the Carolina Hurricanes, Stephen Nason had one singular stretch of 5 games with 6 points. 1 5 game. I don't care if it was starting, game 16, game 25, game 37. There was 1 5-game stretch with 6 points. He did it in his first 5 games with the Devils. The very first. Now you want to like don't bring him into your home again and go, oh, welcome back. Yay, you're here. Welcome him back with where the heck was that last year? I know you had some good things. I like you in front of the net. You did some good things for us, but you're not that good. If you want to remember him fondly after he retires, fine. If you want to remember the good times after he retires, fine. But not tonight. 0-2 is to be avoided at all costs. Not tonight. I mean, be one of the legends, right? You hear this about Pedro Martinez or something. I don't know if this is actually attributed to Pedro Martinez, but I feel like when you want to make a pitcher seem like the ultimate competitor, you say if his mother would crowd the plate, he'd throw it high and inside. That's the good competitors. Be that. Even if you consider Stephen Nason family, he's part of the Canes family. If he crowds the plate, throw it high and tight. Little chin music. Back him up off the plate. And you know what's even... He was a Devil before he was a Cane. Early 20s, he was in New Jersey. He went back to his ex. How you like that one? He may not even think of himself as a Cane at the end. You may go, well, I started early on in the career. I was with the Devils, went back, finished with a bunch of years with the Devils. I'm a Devil. If that's the case, why? And this is true, by the way. I know, Brady Shea. I know, any Teuvo Teravainen. There's good memories, but when they come into your house or when you're into their new arena, they're trying to beat you. So let's make sure we know where we draw our lines. The ones wearing the Canes uniforms are on our side. The ones that are not wearing the Canes uniforms are on the other side. Again, if you want to give them their flowers after they retire, once their goal is no longer to keep you from your goals, we can have that conversation. But if they're still if their goal is to end your season or to ruin your season or to ruin your night, I cannot get the oh man, let's all pause and look at highlights up on the Jumbotron and then clap and then all right, let's get back to cutthroat competition. It's made to soften you. I want Steph Nason, and I'm just using Steph Nason because he's first. I'm setting the table now. Treat him like Jake Gensel.
I don't think they did anything for Gensel.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so either. I would have liked to have seen more vitriol towards Jake Gensel.
Oh, the fans let him know. Anytime he touched the puck, the fans let him know.
I would have liked to have seen a few more checks into the boards. Just let him.
Yeah.
Just let him know you're there. But my overall point is this. It's sports. It's not that serious, and which is might be the flipping. You may be going exactly. So he's my no. Rooting against him doesn't mean you hate him as a person. It means he's wearing the other team's jersey. Doesn't mean you have no positive memories. It means today we're competing. There's, matter of fact, you should want to beat him more. You should want to beat him more than a regular game because it is somebody who you might be talking to occasionally. I heard that on a Draymond Green podcast recently. I didn't realize how close he and LeBron are, but he goes, some people don't like that we're friends. They think maybe we'll take it easy. He's like, it's the exact opposite. Like, I'm more likely to run through his chest because he's somebody I know. I don't agree with much that Draymond says, but I'm fully on board with that. Steph Nason scores today. I'm going to be very frustrated. And the numbers say he's good for about, 1 point something points per game. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I got some more numbers for you right here from Window Nation. Tim Donnelly here for Window Nation, and the numbers are simple. 2. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free, plus pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years. And there's no limit to how much you can save on that. Keep going. Buy 2, get 2 for as many windows as you have in your house. With the nicer weather here, it's a great time to replace those old, inefficient windows with energy-efficient windows from Window Nation. There's a lot, and I hopefully on this show make it known, like, I know what I don't know, or I try to admit, like, hey, not an expert here. And I think many of us are that way with our energy bill. Right? They send us an energy bill. As long as it's generically in the range of, previous energy bills, you pay it and you move on. You might not know what goes into it. You might not know your windows are costing you a bunch of money by letting the air that you're cooling inside during the summer and you're about to be heating inside once it gets cold is escaping through your windows, through the inefficient sealants, through the actual glass, through the vinyl or the wood that may be damaged. That's where Justin or one of the other many window experts from Window Nation can come into your house for a nice little demonstration and presentation and show you how your energy bill could be lower. It shouldn't just be something you pay and you move on. If your energy bill could be lower, is that something you'd be interested in? I bet. So go ahead and give Window Nation a call. 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION. Or visit windownation.com to schedule. That is a free, no-obligation consultation and estimate. You can go to windownation.com to schedule now. We'll take a break. When we come back, the college basketball AP Top 25 poll preseason came out yesterday, and I am once again, earlier than usual, saying, what the heck does everyone have against the ACC? Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Kevin Stefanski runs the risk of losing his job as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Because if he continues to stay the course with Deshaun Watson, he's going to lose that locker room, and those guys are going to stop playing for him. If he benches Deshaun Watson in lieu of Jameis Winston, he's probably going to get fired by the owner sooner rather than later. So it is an impossible position that Kevin Stefanski finds himself in.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Is your heating and air system ready for cooler weather? Call Newcomb & Company today to schedule a routine maintenance and ensure your system is operating at peak performance. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs for HVAC and plumbing work. Newcomb & Company has served the area as a Carrier Factory authorized dealer for more than 3 generations. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company and Carrier. Your comfort is our business.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Connection, opportunity, possibility. It's what we all want. Spectrum has built a world where anything is possible, with products and services designed to work better together for a seamless connectivity experience. A connection to family and friends, a connection to education, and a connection to new opportunities. So there's no limit to how big we can dream. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Dauntless Transmissions in Raleigh is hiring. If you're an ASE certified automotive technician looking to make good money, have a guaranteed 40-hour work week, and get paid every Friday, check out this opportunity. Dauntless Transmissions is a small family-owned shop with a quality-first attitude in need of technicians with experience doing minor engine work. Happy to train the right candidate further on transmissions. If you're ready to be appreciated and duly compensated for your automotive abilities, call or apply now at dauntlesstransmissions.com.
Hey everybody, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. How about an SGP for the Thursday night football game? It's Denver at New Orleans. Alvin Kamara, over 100 rushing yards. Bo Nix, my guy, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. And how about Rashid Shaheed, over 75 receiving yards? Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul, Paul, and make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Back to Morcell, right of the lane to Burns. They double him into the corner to Taylor. Shot in the air for three. Good for the right side. Big shot by Jaden Taylor, his second three of the game. And it's 75-70, packed by 5. Two-possession game with 1:07 to go.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. A few sounds there coming out of break from NC State's run to the Final Four. That was when they beat Oakland. You may remember when Jack Golke was one of the stories of the tournament, and then NC State sent him home packing.
And they said who?
I remember. DJ Burns said, I'm the story of the tournament here. Listen, why doesn't the ACC get – I mean, should I go full
yeah, absolutely.
Get no respect.
Yeah, do it.
Rodney Dangerfield?
Mm-hmm.
I had no respect. I'm awful at that. My wife, she said I'd look better if I shaved my butt and walked backwards. I get no respect. No? All right, well, why doesn't the ACC get any respect? NC State is a defending Final Four team. They won the conference tournament for one of, what I believe is, the best conference in the country.
Can I correct you real fast?
Go ahead.
You said one of? It's
I said
the.
One of what I believe is the
it's
best.
Is the.
But even I'm covering all my bases. I'm not going to give you anything to argue with. You can argue if it is the best. I don't believe it's a good argument, but you can argue against it. You can't argue against the ACC being one of the best conferences in the country. The NC State Wolfpack won the conference. They made it to the Final Four. And the AP Top 25 preseason poll came out, and they received not just not a place in the top 25. They received 0 votes. Not even in the also receiving votes category.
Bruh.
Now, I'm not here to say that NC State this year is supposed to be a top 10 team. I can be more realistic than that. I understand before the ACC tournament last year, they were not any kind of juggernaut, so you're building off of the full body of work. But also I can say this. There's a lot of programs that receive votes that do not have the expectations of being a top 10 team. Also, I can say this. You know the coach can do it. You know the coach just did it. You know he can do it. And I'll say this. It's not like the whole team moved on. Michael O'Connell coming back. Jaden Taylor coming back. That's the assist leader and the third leading scorer from a Final Four team. Ben Middlebrook's coming back. He had one of the games of the tournament. And by the way, they were vibing at ACC tip-off. NC State. If they hadn't had the chip on the shoulder put back on because they were, walking around like they owned the room, this might put the chip back on the shoulder. Even after you did all of that last year, no respect. And it continues, right? It's not just NC State. It's the entire ACC. Duke 7th, UNC 9th.
Okay.
NC State, no votes. Wake Forest also receiving votes. I counted, so if the top 25 continued, Wake Forest would be 30.
Yeah.
Miami also receiving votes would be 38th. Clemson also receiving votes would be 41st. Louisville.
Yeah, what the heck?
Also receiving votes would be 47th.
Yeah, Louisville got 4 votes.
That is
State got none.
That is more votes than they have players returning. That is actually
by 4.
4 more votes than they have players returning.
Gosh.
They have 0 players returning. They have 12 incoming transfers. We talked with Pat Kelsey, their coach at ACC Tip-Off. Seems like a nice guy. Could be a good coach. Was getting some things done at College of Charleston. 10 years in the program at Wake Forest decades ago. Right? There's something to like there, but to say this season they're a top 25 team without giving a vote to NC State, what's going on? And we could go on to a bunch of other teams from other conferences that have received votes that don't make sense.
Oh, I was about to say, like, High Point?
High Point would be a great answer.
Princeton?
Princeton would be a great answer.
Arkansas Little Rock got 3.
That would be a great answer.
Who's voting? Who is voting for Arkansas Little Rock?
I genuinely believe there is some kind of groundswell, grassroots movement to knock down the ACC in terms of basketball. Because I don't think there's a single team in the ACC that doesn't have a gripe with where they're ranked. Duke, with their recruiting class, their transfer class, and the 2 guys they're bringing back, top 5 minimum, they're 7th. UNC brings back the best shooting guard in the country. That's not me talking. That's the Jerry West Award talking. As well as one of the best recruiting classes, as well as the 3rd leader and 6th man of the year voting for the ACC last year, as well as Elliot Cadeau, a point guard everyone seems excited about, as well as a guy that shot 46% at his previous stop before hitting the transfer portal, and that's not 46% from the field. That's 46% from 3. Cade Tyson. I think they should probably be in the 5 to 7 range. They're in 9th, and everyone else has a big gripe. Wake Forest not being in the top 25, despite returning what they're returning. Hunter Salas turned down the NBA to return. Efton Reed, former 5-star recruit, 7-footer, who has yet to play for the same team in back-to-back years, going back to his transferring between his junior and senior year in high school. Finally has some stability. Last year didn't play at the beginning of the year because of his eligibility. He transferred twice. Can he? Will he? Won't he? Does he have a waiver? Eventually played. He gets a normal offseason for the first time in half a decade. Wake Forest should be top 25. It's very frustrating because right now we're in football season. I know we're doing a lot of basketball talk here. But we're also in football season for college football. And the arguments that we hear yelled at us at this point in time, for some reason, don't apply to basketball. The SEC for years was Georgia and Bama, and then a big gap, and then everybody else. And what that did in the minds of everyone that follows college football was it gave everyone in the SEC respect by proxy because they had to battle with Georgia and Alabama. And so, well, of course, they're going to have a few more losses because they got to play Georgia and Alabama. But then you look at the ACC, and it's negative. It's, well, you're Duke and Carolina and nobody else. And I'm going like, well, by comparison, maybe. Guess what? Auburn and Florida and Tennessee for years and years and years and years looked, by comparison to Georgia and Alabama, pretty darn bad. But they got dragged up. That was a reason why they got to be in the top 25, why they got to be ranked ahead of teams with more losses than them or less losses than them. But in basketball, if you just say, all right, Duke and Carolina are Bama and Georgia football, everybody goes, no. I don't understand. And usually we have to wait until mid-season when net rankings and things are settling out to get really upset that everybody's disrespecting the ACC. They didn't wait this year. They said, let's start it. Let's give the team with, in the last 15 years, the most Sweet 16 teams, the most Elite 8 teams, the most Final Four teams. Let's give them 2 teams in the top 25 and walk.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're expecting down years. I actually think Duke had a down year last year. They made it to the Elite 8. I think UNC kind of had a down year last year. They made it to the Sweet 16. At different times were ranked as high as 3rd, 2nd in the country. NC State, down year until it was an awesome year. Like there's got to be some kind of, we've seen you do it before, we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt, that you see in other scenarios around college sports that for some reason ACC basketball doesn't get. ACC basketball, they're treated like everybody wants to act in a motivational speech, right? My spot at the top is rent that needs to be paid daily. I got to prove myself every single day against my naysayers and my haters. The ACC is like, I don't want to do any of that, but I have to because they keep knocking us down. It'd be nice if every once in a while somebody just said, you know what, they're probably going to be pretty good because they recruit really well and they're pretty good every year.
Not even hey, out of respect of you going to the Final Four last year, I'm going to put you 25. Like, didn't even get that.
Out of maybe something clicked with Kevin Keats and he's got something cooking here, I'll put you 25th. Not even a single one of those. Not even hey, you guys pulled some Louisville transfers out of the transfer portal. I'm going to vote Louisville in, so I might as well put you in before them. Because Louisville did get votes.
They did. 60 people voting on this AP poll. I need answers. Who are these stooges? I need all 60 of you to answer for this atrocity.
I do think, and we were talking about this off air, I do think there needs to, do you know what I'm honestly surprised hasn't happened yet in the age of social media?
What's that?
I think ballots should have to be public.
I'm for it.
Like, if you truly believe it and you want to defend it, go ahead. But this anonymous thing lets you be a fool and not pay the price for it.
Mm-hmm. I think football, it gets somewhere out there.
Like who you're voting for?
Yeah.
I hope so. It should.
I think football, it's been out there.
And if it is, somebody point me in that direction for basketball. I would love to see. I want to know who made some of these votes. And then I mean, if you're going to have 60 people vote and 59 people are voting one way and you're constantly the outlier, you should have your voting privileges looked at. Not saying revoked immediately, but if you're the outlier, like, this is important. This is important. Maybe, it's just a ranking. Who cares? Well, I'll tell you who does care. Coaches, players, coaches' job security, their families that want to stick around where they're living. Mm-hmm. Players who you may think it's ridiculous, but when you are a college athlete, that's the most important thing you have going on. The thing you spend the most time doing, the thing you care about most. Like, you do check those numbers. It's important.
Keats printed this out and put it on every player's locker, right?
There's not a single the ACC should laminate them and send them to everybody in the conference and be like, put this in your locker. You look at other teams. I don't like. Who would you rather build a team around, Cooper Flagg or Hunter Dickinson?
Cooper Flagg.
I think every coach in the country,
yeah.
if you gave them a truth serum, would say Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
But they're 7th, and Hunter Dickinson and his squad are way above. But then the AP voters are like, we've seen Hunter Dickinson do it before for, like, Michigan 5 years ago. What does that matter?
Yeah, I saw Cooper Flagg do it for Team USA this summer.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
So I'm kind of giving Anthony Davis the business. Like, you want to be excited he used to dominate future accountants in the Big Ten? Like, what are we doing here? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9, The Fan. Speaking of competition, Dennis, it's me versus you. It's me versus you. Mm-hmm. It's a ladder competition. We had been doing the ladder challenge. which is an online thing where you try to hit a minus 1,000 bet every day for a month, and it turns your money into a bunch more money because compound interest is a thing, and it just keeps building. You roll over the winnings. But Dennis and I picking bets together kept losing.
Yeah, we did.
We were picking bets that should have been very easy to hit, and we were getting every kind of creative loss possible, including the Canes plus 2.5 in their opener, in which case there were back-to-back empty netters for us to lose in the last 3 minutes.
We got beer leagued.
So instead, we said, no. We're not good at this together. Let's figure out whose fault it really was.
Okay.
So Dennis and I are now solo dolo. We each put $10 in yesterday. It was day one of the ladder competition rather than the ladder challenge. And the way this works is we each put a bet that is very likely to win, somewhere between minus 500 and minus 1,000. And at the end of a month, whoever has the most money wins. You can re-up only after you get it. You can only put more money in to our base level after you busto. Last night, I had Aaron Rodgers over 150 passing yards. It was minus 900. Won in a landslide. He was cooking them, if you will, at times. Dennis, did yours hit?
I did. I had Detroit Red Wings plus 3.5 goals at minus 775 against the New York Rangers. They lost 4-1, but that doesn't mean I didn't miss the spread, though.
Needed that hook.
Yeah, I did. I nailed it.
All right, so we both have money. I have $11.11 to roll over today. You have a little bit more because your odds are a little bit longer. We're looking for bets for today. We need one a day that are going to keep us alive in our ladder competition. I'm very confident you will not have picked mine, so you go ahead and go first.
Okay, I have $11.12 to roll over, so I got that going for me. I'm sorry, $11.20. My apologies. Florida Panthers take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Florida Panthers plus 2.5 goals on the road at Columbus. That's a minus 800.
You're staying in the hockey world.
Yeah, well, it's pretty easy.
I'm staying in the football world.
Okay.
There is I believe it's tonight. Yes, it starts in 3 hours and 44 minutes.
Okay.
Troy at South Alabama.
Oh, wow, you're going there.
I'm going Troy at – what are you supposed to mean? Like that's all the way off the beaten path?
That means
South Alabama wide receiver Jamal Pritchett, 40-plus receiving yards against Troy. It is minus 900. Thus far this season, he does have 2 games where this would not have hit. One was against NW State. Don't know what that is. But they won 87-10.
Okay.
So I assume he had a touchdown early, and they just
probably some FCS school.
Then against LSU, it would have been 40 on the nose. So actually, it would have hit there. So if he does it against against Louisiana State, if he does it against LSU, he's darn sure doing it against Troy. And he hit it a whole bunch in a bunch of others.
Tuesday Sunbelt action. All right.
Well, Tuesday Sunbelt action against Arkansas State. He had 137 last week.
Okay.
So Jamal Pritchett, 40-plus receiving yards. It's minus 900. I'm rolling over my money. Once it hits, tomorrow we'll do it again. Dennis will be re-upping.
We'll see about that.
I'm going with just blatant overconfidence here. That's my new strategy. Jamal Pritchett, I'm going to buy a jersey. Going to donate to his NIL fund.
Okay.
South Alabama's finest. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Those are locked in, ready to roll. Tail them if you choose. I'm going to ask a question that I've been asked more this week than any other question. Should the Panthers play Bryce Young? Which, hear me out, at one point in time I thought there was 0% chance. But I've come around to it a little bit with this reason. First of all, let's separate Andy Dalton from the conversation. Andy Dalton hasn't played worse than you'd expect. I don't think the calls for Bryce Young have anything to do with, I'm so disappointed in Andy. He's completing 68% of his passes, 225 yards a game, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions over 4 games. If you were expecting significantly better than that from Andy Dalton, your expectations were too high. That is Andy Dalton at this point in his career. So it's nothing he did that has led me here. It's what the team has done or not done, which is win games. Should you go to Bryce Young? There are a few arguments for not going to Bryce Young that I'm going to bring up. I I understand if you keep Bryce on the bench because you don't think you can evaluate the rest of the roster with him. But I would also argue this. Last year with Bryce Young started all except for one game last season. Did anyone who looked bad last year look great this year? Chuba Hubbard was good last year. Adam Thielen had 100 catches last year. Jonathan Mingo looked a bit skittish last year. Jonathan Mingo has looked skittish this year with Andy Dalton. Chuba Hubbard has looked good with Andy Dalton. Thielen had 100 catches with Bryce Young. It's the coach's job to bring back, at minimum, like the very lowest, very, very most bottom, very, very, the lowest expectation is you get Bryce to at least as good as he was last year. And I think last year was good enough to evaluate. The players that looked bad last year, I think were playing bad last year. Then there's the other argument I've heard about not starting Bryce is the social dynamics in the locker room, right? You had to go to Andy Dalton after the first 2 games or you'd lose the locker room. You had to or you'd lose the locker room. And again, I'm not 100% against that. And if you bring him back, guys might check out. I may be reaching here. But guys that would check out because the coach makes a decision, don't those seem like the ones Dave Canales would want to kind of announce themselves? Like if you don't love to compete, if you're not ready to play football because we changed the quarterback, isn't that like the exact enemy of what Dave Canales is? And you'd want them to emerge and to show themselves so he could know and approach them appropriately, which would probably be trade them. And then there's this last part that I'm going to make here. And I do not miss the humor in it because I understand there will probably be jokes. Are you 100% Bryce Young is a complete bust?
That's the $1 million question.
If you're not 100, and I mean like a firm 100, like you're not betting your house and your life savings on it because you see it as an easy win. You play Bryce until it gets to 100%. Because I do know something that's 100%. 5 years from now, Andy Dalton won't be your quarterback. 3 years from now, Andy Dalton likely won't be your quarterback. And if he is, he'll be the same thing that we were talking about, right? You can't have too high expectations, and they'd probably be lower than they are now. If there is a Dumb and Dumber chance, right? Probably 1 in a million. So you're telling me there's a chance. If there is a Dumb and Dumber chance that Bryce Young can reclaim some bit of what you saw in him or what everybody saw in him, I think it's worth fleshing that out. I think it's worth seeing it through. And I'll even add this. A lot of people thought Baker Mayfield had a 0% chance when he was with the Panthers. Different offense, different, the supporting staff, all that. But turns out that was wrong. Do you think with 2020 hindsight, you'd go back and give Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield a longer look? Maybe. Probably. Yes. Definitely. I think there's a world where Bryce Young goes somewhere else and even has just a Justin Fields first 6 games. Oh, look at that. They won 4 of them run with some other team. And everybody's going to look around and go, they always get better when they leave the Panthers. And I'm going like, well, if you don't play him now, you didn't even see the reasons. You didn't even see it all the way through. You got off the ride too early. There's only actually, I don't. Have you ever walked out of a movie in a movie theater?
Once.
Really? What movie? I love this.
It was actually the Chappelle block party that came out like 20 years ago. No, I just really wasn't enjoying it. And I was like,
party people gather around.
Well, because it was a
brand new sound.
I was expecting something different, and I was like, oh, okay, this is just.
It was not the Chappelle show, but that's funny. That's the one. But that means like other than that movie, have you seen bad movies in the theater?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you're always thinking they're going to save it, aren't you? You got to see it through. You paid the money. Mm-hmm. You might as well watch. Well, guess what? The Panthers, I mean, I know movie tickets are expensive now. The Panthers, they paid a very, very pricey movie ticket to see the Bryce Young show. It may have started terrible. You may have not known you were getting a musical when it ended up being a musical, when it ended up being just a concert film. You may have not expected what you were getting, but you paid a ton of money. You might as well see it through. And if people want to bail, if veterans want to go, oh, now I'm not going to play, fine. That's on you. You can explain that one looking for your next contract. Oh, yeah, once they put Bryce back in, that wasn't the real me from that point forward. That's why my stats dipped. Hard to explain. And if you want to say, like, oh, the reason my stats dipped were because of Bryce, film don't lie. They'll see effort. Good. Type in right now into Twitter, George Pickens lazy or George Pickens effort. What you're going to see is a few games ago, he wasn't getting the ball enough, and that guy decided he was going to jog routes. And it took about 2 seconds for the eyes in the sky of social media to catch him jogging on overs and the balls overthrown and everything else. If you want to quit on the team because they make a change to a young quarterback in a lost season, that's on you. Dave Canales has to see if there's anything there. And if there's 1% of 1% that there might be something there with Bryce, I think you look. And it won't be fun, and it'll be ugly. And you'll have battles, and at times you'll really question yourself.
It's going to be gross.
At times. Close your nose. Get the old clothespin.
Pin
it up there and talk like this if you have to.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. There were some interesting impressions in that one. Let's go ahead and jump into football at 4 coming up next. Outside of Bryce Young, are there any trades you expect to happen with the Carolina Panthers? Big trade day today. Devontae Adams on the move. Amari Cooper on the move. When will the first Panther be on the move? Stick around.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
Jordan Moore delivers, and the Blue Devils have the lead.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford and by Amedios.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. And there's no time like now to help Western North Carolina recover from Hurricane Helene. Through October 19th, participating Bojangles are donating all proceeds from Bowberry biscuit sales to hurricane relief efforts in Western North Carolina. So when you buy a Bowberry biscuit from Bojangles, you'll be doing something good and getting something good. What are you waiting for? It's Help Western North Carolina time.
The final shot at the Championship 4 comes down to a track that's been here from day one. Martinsville. NASCAR Playoffs weekend at Martinsville Speedway. November 1st through the 3rd. Get your tickets now at martinsvillespeedway.com.
Homeowners, listen up. The Fed has taken action, lowering rates for the first time in years, and Loan Pronto has followed suit by lowering mortgage rates big time. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That means this is the best chance in 2 years to do a cash-out refi and unlock all that equity at an amazing rate. Loan Pronto has fixed loans under 5% APR, the lowest in 2 years. You can get a fast refi and get $50, $75, even $100,000 in cash. Use it to pay off all your credit cards, personal loans, car loans. You'll end up with one payment each month, and for most homeowners, they save over $850 every month. And if you want to keep your original mortgage intact, ask about the Loan Pronto Express Equity Line of Credit. If you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Get your rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Has Mother Nature taken a toll on your home? Whether it's storm damage, wear and tear, or just the passage of time, Baker Home Exteriors is Raleigh's trusted expert for all your home repair needs. From roofs, gutters, and siding, to doors, windows, and decks, we have the experience to restore your home. But we don't just fix problems, we improve your home's resilience and aesthetics, giving you peace of mind and pride in your property. Visit bakerroofing.com to schedule your repair service today.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Middle of the day, breezy and cool. Today's a cooler day than yesterday, thanks to our cold front. High temperatures in the middle 60s, a mix of clouds and sun. Small rain chance overnight into Wednesday morning, with overnight lows once again in the 40s. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is down 341 points to 42,723. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I think the fire sale is going to have to happen for the Panthers. Is there anyone untradeable? That's where I think you start. Internally, you get your scouts, you get your coaches, you get everybody in, and your executives into the team room, you shut the door, and you say, is there anyone untradeable? And you work back from there. Have it like an AP poll we were talking about. Everybody rank your top 10 most untradeable players, and we'll give them a score. Another way to put it is this. Reportedly, the Lions called the Lions' Aiden Hutchinson gross broken leg. Was having an unbelievable season, edge rusher for the Lions. Don't Google it if you're squeamish. Broke his leg. Apparently, they called the Raiders about Max Crosby, another super stud edge rusher on a team who's selling. Obviously, they traded Devontae Adams earlier today. And reportedly, the Raiders answered him, nope, click. Exactly. Do the Panthers have anyone that they would treat the way the Raiders treated Max Crosby in that situation? I've put together my list. Dennis, jump in if you think I missed anybody. I think Derek Brown is a no-go.
Yep, that's a lock.
Because of the long-term contract, because of how well he's played, because of you choosing to keep him last offseason, and because you'd be selling low due to the injury right now, so you won't get full value. I'm putting Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis.
I'm with you on that.
They're on a 4-year and a 5-year contract, stud guards, interior offensive linemen. And the reason why I'm putting that there is whoever you bring in as your quarterback next year is going to need to be protected. And I think those two guys have shown what they can do towards building a pocket for someone to throw in this year. Next, I would have what I call the rookies. Trevin Wallace, Xavier Legette, Jonathan Brooks, Jatavian Sanders. Those 4, for me, aren't going anywhere.
Okay.
Yep. There you go. That's what I have. Those are the ones, and everyone else goes for the right price. You don't sell cheap necessarily, right? Because there's levels of how much you want to sell somebody. But everybody else, if somebody makes the prices right, the right offer, you're sending them away. And that's not to say there aren't other good players. There's a very big difference between the untradeable players and the good players. Those are what I believe are the untradeable players. The good players who are remaining would be the Deontay Johnsons, the Chuba Hubbards, the Taylor Motons, the Xavier Woods, the A'Shawn Robinsons. We could go on for a short amount of time more. Not an unbelievable amount of players there, but they can all be had for what I would consider a fair price. Those are players that you don't have to have your absolute socks blown off to trade. If we're being honest, even the ones that are on the untradeable list, if somebody wants to go like stupid above and beyond, yeah, you trade them. Guess what? Outside of like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, there might not be anyone that truly is no price on it. If when the Lions called about Max Crosby, they were like, no, and then on there they're like, 4 first-round picks. They'd have been like, oh, never mind. 4 first-round picks? I was going to hang up on you. Should have started with that. But I don't see anyone doing that for any of these players. So the ones that could be had for a fair price all fall into a certain category. They're either old, and I've explained this a bunch of times. If you're 30 plus, and like you're Adam Thielen, are you going to be around when the Panthers are good?
No.
So it's I think this is better for everyone. You go somewhere that can be good right now. We get something back that'll hopefully turn into somebody that can help us contribute when we are good, when we're ready to contend. So they're either old, they're on an expiring contract, which would be Deontay Johnson and Chuba Hubbard. If you're on an expiring contract and you don't have a very, very, very good idea that player wants to stay with you on a fair market deal this offseason, you trade them to get something for them while you can, or else you're going to watch them walk this offseason for nothing. You might get a compensatory pick maybe 2 drafts from now. And they need help now, so waiting that long doesn't help you much. Expiring contracts, I mean, they are what they are. The player has the leverage. They can leave if they want this offseason, unless you're going to franchise tag them, and that opens up a whole other can of worms. I don't think the Panthers are in a situation to do that. And then there's other more specific categories. Hand-picked players for a coach that might not be around. Right? If Ejiro Evero, the defensive coordinator, isn't here next year, suddenly all of the players that are hand-picked to play in Evero's system don't make sense anymore. A'Shawn Robinson, Josie Jewell, Jordan Fuller, Nick Scott. Right? There's some guys there that just don't make sense in every defense. So if Evero's going to move on, unless you're bringing in someone that runs the same system, that has the same positions, has the same roles, you can move them now and get something for them. There's trades are not the end of the world, and oftentimes they are a necessity towards building, or I should say rebuilding, faster. And it's why being a GM is ruthless. It's why GM shouldn't become friends with players. Again, it's one of my favorite movies, Moneyball, where Brad Pitt is teaching Jonah Hill how to cut a player, or how to tell a player he's traded. Mm-hmm. He's going, well, you're trading me. My kids just started school. Jonah Hill starts going into like, well, I wouldn't move them in during the school year. I'd, maybe you go ahead and leave them, and they follow you in the summertime. And Brad Pitt's like, what are you doing, dude? Hey, we're trading you. Here's a phone number. Call them. They'll help you with your travel. Get the heck out of there. Like that's what GMs have to do. You have to look at these players and say, yeah, Deontay Johnson showed up. There was a role that we needed. He's been playing it very well. He's been working hard. He's battled through some little nagging injuries. There's nothing that he has done that we didn't like. And, oh, by the way, you're going to Green Bay. Have fun in Wisconsin.
There you go.
Here's some travel. Here's a couple good cheese spots. See ya. Amari Cooper just got traded today. Devontae Adams just got traded today. Wide receivers are seen by some of the teams in the NFL as the missing piece that can unlock something bigger and better. Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen happen to fit that bill. Why did Amari Cooper go to the Bills? This is like a philosophical question, right? He went to the Bills because I believe, because they struck out on Devontae Adams. I think the Bills wanted Devontae Adams. Obviously, Devontae Adams wanted the Jets. They made it work. He goes to the Jets. Within half a day, Amari Cooper is a Bill. That's a quick pivot by the Bills. So guess what? Somebody out there missed out on Amari Cooper, and they're looking to pivot. And you can offer them up a cheap Deontay Johnson for the rest of the season. You can, and by the way, there's less options out there. You can offer them up, hey, maybe one day Adam Thielen will be healthy. There's value in everything in the NFL. And the Panthers, as I have said time and time again, are a team that cannot pass up any opportunity to get even the smallest bit better. They have to find a way to get their roster better on a Tuesday, find a way to get their roster better on a Wednesday. I want them bringing in young guys for workouts constantly. Not because they actually need to sign one of them, but because they're looking for that diamond in the rough. And like Chuba Hubbard's your offense. If you want to play well, the strategy is give Chuba Hubbard the ball a bunch. If I'm Chuba Hubbard, I want the Panthers to lead me to a 1,400-yard season. 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns, another 2 through the air. I want to be a Pro Bowler. And then I want to hit the open market and go to the person that pays me the most money, the team that pays me the most money. And I don't see the Panthers being the leading bidder when you just use the second-round pick on another running back. And you don't see yourself as a running back away. So, yeah, you can keep riding Chuba Hubbard to be more competitive in games, but he's going to ride that momentum as well, do a fat contract with someone else.
Real quick, name I didn't hear, Ike Ekwonu.
I don't know if there would be a ton of calls for him, but for the right price, gone. I'm not going to let.
He's not worth keeping?
I'm not going to let 6 games change. Like, there's some bad tape out there on Icky as well.
Yeah, last season.
But
his rookie year was pretty good. Got progressively better every game.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it'd have to be the right price. I'm not selling him for a third. I'm selling him for, if you want to pay me what a top 10 pick would garner on the open market for that team, I'm considering it. Because here's the thing.
That's a premium position that's hard to fill. That's the reason why I ask.
No, it's very much so. But it's I'm trying to think of the way to say this. I think you might be able to get adequate tackle play plus for what you'd get from Ike Ekwonu. Especially coming into this year, the goal was to get adequate tackle play from Ike Ekwonu. And not to mention, he's about to be very expensive. Because this is year 3, which means he's eligible for an extension this offseason. And if you dilly-dally on that, it's gets even more expensive. And I doubt he's going to show up with like, well, it would be fair if I get like a mid-level starting left tackle. He's going to show up saying, no, I'm a top 10 pick. I've started just about every game since I got here. And you have to start to weigh that in. Like, by the way, I wouldn't mind Deontay Johnson sticking around and saying I'm going to I'm going to be the highest bidder this offseason. I really like Deontay Johnson. The issue I have is the wide receiver market has gotten so crazy that to be the highest bidder on Deontay Johnson might be $30+ million a year, and then I'm going, I can't do that with all these other holes on the roster. Ike Ekwonu might be the same thing. If he wants to hang around on like a reasonable deal, great. The issue is you look at like what Jawan Taylor or Orlando Brown are getting on the open market at tackle, and I'm going, am I going to pay more than that probably for Ike Ekwonu? Or can I get something for it and that is of value? It has to be a fair deal. Like, it's got to be a bigger deal. But then someone else can pay him all that money. And by the way, every trade that you trade a player for picks or you trade a player for picks and prospects, like younger guys, that's a flex from Dan Morgan. That's Dan Morgan saying, I'm going to hit on these picks, right? That's Dan Morgan saying, I know what I'm doing. I know how to evaluate. So maybe I'm a little too confident myself as a GM going like, I'll just draft another tackle, baby. I know what the big guys look like. Give me one with some tree trunks for legs, dances like a bear. Oily hips. That's what they always say at the combine. Give me somebody with oily hips. I do like the idea of GMs. Like, by the way, like that's what the Bears did. The Bears in the Bryce Young deal, if they would have struck out on all those picks, we wouldn't be looking at it the same way. But they drafted a starting tackle, a starting corner. Obviously, Caleb Williams, that one was, they stumbled into that. traded back and still got Keenan Allen with a fourth. Like, if Dan Morgan wants to get a bunch of draft capital and flex on him, I'm fine with that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on here, I want to tell you all about Miller Lending. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending, and, of course, that includes Gordon Miller. This is going to be, for the foreseeable future, an unpredictable market when it comes to interest rates. Why? Well, because to a certain extent, they're always unpredictable. But it's an election year. Things have been a little crazy as of late. Rates going up, rates going down. The no closing cost loan from Gordon Miller and Miller Lending, the no cost loan, which is truly no cost, no third-party fees, no closing costs of any kind, zero means zero. It's a way to take that stress off, right? Say you're looking for a mortgage right now, and you're going, I don't know, the rates might be lower tomorrow, they might be lower tomorrow, so you don't get your mortgage. You try to wait. They go up tomorrow, they go up the next day, and now you're feeling dumb because you didn't lock it in when it was lower. But at the same time, if you locked it in today, rates drop tomorrow, you feel dumb because now you got to pay costs and fees to refinance. Oh, wait, you don't have to pay the costs and fees at Miller Lending. Lock it in now. If rates go up, you're cooling because you locked it in at the lower rate. If rates go down, refinance with no cost and fees out of your pocket over and over and over again. Get that monthly payment as low as you can. That's what the no closing cost loan from Miller Lending does for you, particularly in an unpredictable market like the one we're facing right now. So give them a call at 919-447-3377 and ask them how a no closing cost loan from Miller Lending could help them out with their monthly payment. 919-447-3377. I'm going to say that again. I say this multiple times a day. I haven't stumbled in a very long time. 919-447-3377. Got to say the important stuff. You can also visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break. When we come back, it is time for Cop or Drop, and we have our first goal scorer prediction. So get ready to dial in and make your predictions. Could get you a pretty sweet prize if you guess who's going to be the first goal scorer for the Canes and in what period they're going to score it. Stick around.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Carrier to it, stalls in front. Carrier rips it. They score! Oh, Captain, my Captain! It's 1-0 Carolina.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck Drop at 7.
Now back to Slavin. He shot right on. Rebounds out in front. Chance up front. They score! Here come the Hats!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Hockey fans, here's a cool offer. BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is giving existing customers another reason to lace up and hit the ice this season. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here for BetMGM, and they're adding extra excitement to the goals, the checks, the face-offs, and the breakaways with an NHL Odds Boost token. Take your shot at extra winnings when you bet on NHL action with your favorite sports betting app, BetMGM. All you have to do is log into your existing BetMGM account today to receive your NHL Odds Boost token. Then simply add a hockey wager to your bet slip and activate your token. If your wager lights the lamp, you'll receive extra winnings in unrestricted bonus dollars. Now that is an epic power play. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Existing customer offer subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as withdrawable bonus dollars. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hi, this is Mike Maniscalco. Do you want to increase the value of your home and decrease the cost of energy bills? If your home needs new windows, siding, doors, and more, look no further than your locally owned Window World, the Triangle's most trusted and America's largest exterior remodeler. A proud sponsor of the Canes, Window World will get your home looking great on the outside while saving on energy costs inside. Search Window World for a free quote today.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. What genre of music would this be?
Pop, of course.
Pop music.
Yeah.
Well, if you like country music, I've got something for you. Maybe you're an eclectic, you like this, you like that. Text keyword YOUNG, Y-O-U-N-G, to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Brett Young at DPAC on October 26th. Once again, that is keyword YOUNG to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Brett Young at DPAC on October 26th. Now let's play Cop or Drop.
Well, I'm dropping.
The way this works, Dennis throws everything he can at me. Predictions, guesses, ideas, anything really. Sports related. Sometimes not, actually. And I say whether I am copping or dropping. Dennis, take it away.
All right, let's go build off the conversation we had last segment. Cop or drop, Chuba Hubbard will finish the year as a Carolina Panther. Cop or drop?
I am copping. But not because I think it's what's best for the Panthers. It's because I don't think there's a tremendous market for running backs at the moment. Obviously, if something crazy happens, if one of the main contenders has a first kind of stud, all-inclusive bell cow back that gets hurt, then maybe they make the move. They become a little bit desperate. I'm thinking like the Ravens, something like that. But for every example of a team that desperately needs a quarterback, or sorry, a running back, there's an event like last night where James Cook becomes kind of a surprise scratch for Buffalo an hour before the game.
Yeah, something weird like that.
And Ray Davis just balls the heck out right away, just catching 40-yard bombs on improv plays from Josh Allen, and he's running through people. So I don't know if anyone out there is desperate enough to pay a decent amount for a running back, and I think Chuba Hubbard would cost a decent amount.
Watch, he'll end up in Kansas City or something crazy like that.
Kansas City would, if Pacheco ends up being out longer and they don't find what they're looking for out of, like a Clyde Edwards-Helaire return or something like that, maybe they do make a move for down the stretch.
All right, here we go. Peter Kochetkov in net tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes. Cop or drop? Piotr starts more games in net this season than Frederick Anderson. Cop or drop?
I'm copping it for a few reasons. One, wishful thinking. I think it should be Piotr's net.
Mm-hmm.
I think he should be goalie one. Two, because he's 25 years old and Freddie's, 35 now? 34, 35?
33, 34. I think 34.
And that's just no. Like, I'm not knocking on. I mean, I will knock on wood if you want me to. Not saying it will happen or should happen, but just traditionally older guys get hurt a bit more. So I think Piotr's availability is a higher percentage. So I think Pyotr Kochetkov starts more games. I hope he starts more games. I hope he gets the postseason if and when the Canes make it. It just seems like a an opportunity for him to kind of transition from Freddie's net a season ago to Piotr's net this year.
All right, cop or drop. Kind of blending the last two on this one. Cop or drop, the Carolina Hurricanes trade for a top 6 forward during the season. Cop or drop?
A top 6 forward. I had a long conversation about the Canes roster this morning. And since I've taken over this show, since I've been on this show with Dennis, the second line center has been so talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just harder than you think to, like, if you have a great center, you just don't give them up, right? You sign them to long-term deals, you pay them market value, you keep them happy. So there's not a lot of options. I think the Canes, their wings are especially top 6 wings, I kind of like them.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think they need to go out there and improve their wings. It would be that second line center that they trade for. I just don't know if there's one out there. I don't know if there's going to be one available. And it's happened a few times where we talk ourselves into one on the trade market and we're like, oh, that could happen. It could happen. And then the news comes out right before the trade deadline. They signed an 8-year extension with the team that they're playing for. And it's just because, other NHL teams aren't stupid. There's that position in every sport where, give me a contender in the NFL.
In the NFL?
Yes.
Baltimore,
perfect. Baltimore could probably use an edge rusher. And they might think, like, we're an edge rusher away from winning the whole thing. It's very rare that at the deadline there's going to be a team out there like, well, actually, we have one we're not using. Here you go. Especially not an elite one, right? Eventually, occasionally, maybe a Von Miller or something like that if they're on an expiring contract. But even those don't really pop out in the NHL as much. I just think second-line center, until you develop one from inside your system, it's going to be really hard to fill any kind of intentional way.
I would not be shocked, actually, if it's a winger, though. I would not
top
be shocked.
Six?
Yeah, top 6, absolutely. You bump Jack Roslovic down to the lower 6, probably like 3rd or 4th line.
See, again, this is that long conversation we talked about earlier. I'm hoping it's not super long until Jackson Blake is up there as a second-line winger.
It's possible.
And then Roslovic would be down there probably on the 4th line.
Even still, I'd still think they make that move.
Also, let me float this at you, because now I get to play the role of the person I was talking to.
No, but are you copping or dropping they make that trade, though?
No, I don't think they trade for a top 6 forward.
Okay.
How would you feel?
Go on.
First line. Like, this isn't my idea. I'm not taking credit for it. It's somebody else's. Bibliography cited. Aho, Jarvis, Martinook.
We've seen that before.
Yeah, but I feel like no one's really floating it out there this year. Martinook is just like seat belted in next to Stahl. Then you could put maybe Jackson Blake on a Stahl line. Let him learn the Canes way alongside of the captain.
Okay.
Roslovic down on the 4th line. Svech, Kokoniemi, Natchez, second line.
They've tried that Svech, Natchez, Kokoniemi line
just
so oftentimes, and it doesn't seem like it sticks. They tried it early last year. They tried it in preseason camp, and Rod, even before the first game, decided, you know what? I'm actually going to make this switch.
Fine with that. Jackson Blake up there on the second line. Take maybe Natchez down.
No, I don't think they're going to do that.
I don't think they're going to do that either.
No.
Anyway, there's something there. I need to get a whiteboard with magnets so I can move players around and see what it looks like. But Martinook to the first line intrigued me, and it hadn't been something I thought about recently.
Yeah, he's been up there before. I don't see it happen. Not for long term. Rod will use it in stretches, but not something that I'll probably see long term. All right, next one up here on Cop or Drop. NC State basketball will finish the upcoming season ranked in the top 25. They got 0 votes in the preseason top 25, but they will finish this upcoming season in the top 25.
I'm more comfortable saying they should be ranked now than I am saying they will be ranked at the end of the year. Because there's a bunch of unknowns out there. There's a ton of teams that, with the transfer portal, recruiting the way it is, there's so many teams that are sky-high potential, rock-bottom floor. And the reason why I feel like NC State should be ranked at the beginning of the year is because they should be given as much benefit of the doubt of any of those teams. But I'm not sure. Like, I think there's 10 teams that 100% should be ranked. They're all in the top 10 or 12 in the AP poll. 10 teams that 100% should be ranked. Then there's like 50 teams from 11th to whatever that ends up being, 61st.
Sure.
That group, I don't know if I would take any one of those teams to be ranked at the end of the year. Like, if it's them versus the field of everyone else who might be ranked, I don't think I'm taking any of them. So I'm going to drop it. But of that tier of 50 teams after the top tier, NC State has as good a chance as anyone to be ranked at the end of the year. It's just I'm not like, I wouldn't pick any of them. I wouldn't pick, again, there's like 10 teams right at the top. Other than that, I'm not taking any of them to be ranked at the end of the year.
Okay, so you're dropping it.
I'm dropping.
Okay. Let's go to football. Cop or drop. The Carolina Panthers will move on from Ejiro Evero, their defensive coordinator, before the end of the season. Cop or drop?
Yeah, I'm cop. Before the end of the season.
Before the end of the season. A little caveat in there for you, sir.
I think I'm dropping that. I do think they move on from him this offseason. I do think he has a little bit of job security by the roster being so tailored to his system, where it's like, we could bring someone else in, but they're going to have to do exactly what you're doing anyway, because these guys, they would be round pegs in square holes if you go into any other system. But I'll also say this. Evero is not Canales' guy. Evero was the defensive coordinator last year for the Carolina Panthers, and when Dave Canales took the job, he retained the defensive staff for the most part. I think it's very similar. We talk about it a lot with quarterbacks, where it's like, oh, he wasn't chosen by this regime. He wasn't chosen by this front office, this coaching staff. He's not their guy. I think the same is true, like, almost more so with coaches. Right? Coaches have to be lockstep with their coordinators, and it can't be someone who you're like, I liked you on film. It was tough to scheme against you. Want to stick around? It's got to be like, the offensive coordinator, Brad Idzik, is Dave Canales' best friend. They are like, literally, they finish each other's sentences. And then Evero is the guy that was here before we got here. So I just think that is a tough workplace to work, to make it work. But so I think they move on from him eventually. I just don't think it's in season.
Okay, next one, cop or drop. Mack Brown will not be the coach of UNC after this season. Cop or drop?
I think I have to cop this one, too. You're making me be very negative today.
Hey, I'm just asking the question.
That's true. I think I may have copped this at this time last year, too. I don't know, they were 6-0 at this point last year.
They
Probably
were.
3 or 4 weeks from now, I think I copped this one. It just feels like there's a moment coming when you can shake hands and go in different directions. I think you need a younger coach running UNC, not for any reason other than like a young, innovative offense, some kind of guru looking for that. Somebody that will rock the shoes and the Jordan brand gear and make it look cool. Mack is a legend. He's active coach with a national championship ring. There aren't many of them, 3, I think. So you don't want to celebrate or anything, but I do think that the end is nigh.
Cop or drop? Let's go to NC State. Cop or drop? Either Tony Gibson or Robert Anae will not be back on Dave Doeren's staff next season. Cop or drop?
It's going to be hard for Robert Anae to still be around.
Think so?
For this reason. This season for State is shaping up to be one that is not good. They are 3-4, and finding 3 more wins for bowl eligibility is becoming more and more difficult. I don't think that coaching staff, and Dave Doeren, by the way, just signed an extension not long ago. Like I think the buyout would be significant, so I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, he's signed through 2029.
I don't think he's going anywhere. But I do think there's going to be a little bit of, all right, you got to do something for us. Something's got to change. I'm not getting rid of Tony Gibson. So it's almost by default, Robert Anae, it's like you're going to have to show something down the stretch here that your offense is improving in a big way to stick around. And that's the business side. There's no, I don't like or dislike Robert Anae any more than I did a couple weeks ago. It's just I think after a tough season, people are expecting change. Hey, what are you doing to change so this doesn't happen again? And if your answer is nothing, I'm staying the course, boosters and donors and everybody get pretty frustrated. So, in the interest of the head coach or one of the coordinators has to change, Dave Doeren isn't going anywhere. I don't believe Tony Gibson should or will go anywhere. So Robert and I are the only option.
That's it?
But I don't like calling for people's jobs.
I know.
That wasn't me saying it should happen. That was a prediction.
But again, that's why I think that's why I posed it as: is there going to be a change? Like,
Yeah.
one of them will both be gone after the season, because when you have a disappointing season, there's some form of change. And Tony Gibson's been with Durham for what? This 5th year now, 6th year now,
and he's good. I believe he's turned down other opportunities. I think there's some loyalty element there. Let's get to something fun. Let's get to something optimistic. Let's get to a first goal scorer prediction. Play this game every day of a weekday Canes game. It is presented by the Ultimate Sim Racing Experience, Apex Racing Lab. Rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Experience the ultimate thrill with 20 cutting-edge simulators, expert instructors, and world-class virtual tracks located in Cary's McGregor Village in Greater Raleigh. Visit Apex Racing Lab today and unleash your racing passion. Learn more at apexracinglab.com. A gift certificate for 1 hour of racing will go to anyone that can call in right now and be one of the first 3 callers at 919-860-5326. 919-860-5326. If you can call in, be one of the first 3 callers, and guess who will be the first goal scorer for the Canes tonight, and guess correctly what period they will score it in, you will win the Ultimate Sim Racing Experience at Apex Racing Lab. While Dennis gets the callers on the line, I will give you my prediction. I am ineligible to win, but I am doing it for bragging rights. Martin Necas, first period. If you want more specifics, I believe he does it on the power play. This is me building off of my Mets run, and I'm a Mets fan, thus far through the postseason. At the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the postseason, I just started saying loudly into this microphone what I wanted to have happen. They're going to win. They're going to come back. They're going to beat the Phillies. I think it's a good matchup. And up to this point, it's gone well. So I'm trying to transition that over to the first goal scorer, Martin Necas, first quarter on the power play. I want it to happen.
First quarter, huh?
First, we do it now with touchdowns, and it's first period. You knew what I meant.
I don't know. I think bottom of the second.
You knew what I meant. I think it's going to be a knockout. First round. Martin Necas, first period on the power play. I want to see it. I hope it happens. I think it's going to happen. Give me Necas. We go to Barry and Selma. Barry and Selma, you are up first. Who do you think will score the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes tonight against the Devils, and in what period?
Aho in the first.
Aho in the first. You are chalk. That is easily our most picked, but also it makes sense because he's the leader in a whole bunch of stat categories over the last handful of years. So, Barry, you are locked in with Aho in the first. Go ahead and stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to get from you. Our next caller is Kevin in Fayetteville. Kevin, who scores the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes, and in what period?
I got Carrier in the second. That line looked good, and they're probably going to be the only line looking good again tonight, so I got faith in them.
Carrier in the second. So you have faith in him, but a little bit later in the game. I like it. You're right. He did look good.
He fits in so well with that line.
It makes sense. And I am getting more and more confident in Carrier, Stahl, and whoever else over there could work out pretty well. Martinook is great, but if you wanted to move him up, we've talked about it. Lastly, we have Thomas in Raleigh, our last official contestant. Thomas, go ahead and make your prediction. First goal scorer, and in what period?
Yeah, I think I'm here for the KK redemption arc. Let's go Kokaniemi in the first period, and I'll get spicy and say it's on the power play.
Kokaniemi, you said in the first?
Yeah, we'll go in the first.
All right. The power play is I like the specificity. You don't need that to win. That's just for bragging.
I love it, though.
All right, so do I. So go ahead and stay on the line. All the contestants, Dennis has some info he'll need to get from you to make sure you can get your prize if you win. Dennis, you want to make your prediction first before we start talking about contestants?
Yeah, I was actually thinking I had a lot of different thoughts in mind on this one. But actually, give me Jordan Martinook shorthanded in the second.
Shorty. I love a good
He and
shorty.
Aho are a pair together defensively on shorthanded on a penalty kill. Give me Martinook in the second on the PK.
All right, I like that we're getting the special teams active here. Of the five that we've talked about, right? The three official contestants, my pick and Dennis's pick, three of them added in that it would be on a special team, either shorthanded or power play, which obviously in the first game wasn't a strength for the Canes. So they'll be looking to get it back. If you didn't get through today, we take three official contestants on the phone lines every single time we do this. But if you still want your bragging rights, the YouTube or live stream, the comments underneath, feel free to put a player and a period in there. Svetch in the second, Jarvis in the first, whatever you want it to be. You want to get crazy and say Orlov in the second, feel free. That can be in our YouTube comments. You can send it to me on Twitter at Donnelly Sports. Any way you get it to us, as long as it is time-stamped before the start of the game, we will give you your bragging rights if you do get it correct. But again, Dennis says Martinook on a shorthanded goal in the second. I am on Martin Necas first period power play tonight against the Devils. And no one think you're funny and put like Steph Nason in the first. Nobody think you're funny. I wouldn't think it's funny. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to take a break. We have a feedback frenzy coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Is your heating and air system ready for cooler weather? Call Newcomb & Company today to schedule a routine maintenance and ensure your system is operating at peak performance. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs for HVAC and plumbing work. Newcomb & Company has served the area as a Carrier Factory authorized dealer for more than 3 generations. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company and Carrier. Your comfort is our business.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. And there's no time like now to help Western North Carolina recover from Hurricane Helene. Through October 19th, participating Bojangles are donating all proceeds from Bowberry biscuit sales to hurricane relief efforts in Western North Carolina. So when you buy a Bowberry biscuit from Bojangles, you'll be doing something good and getting something good. What are you waiting for? It's Help Western North Carolina time.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
Connection, opportunity, possibility. It's what we all want. Spectrum has built a world where anything is possible, with products and services designed to work better together for a seamless connectivity experience. A connection to family and friends, a connection to education, and a connection to new opportunities. So there's no limit to how big we can dream. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Wow, you look fantastic. I love all the sparkle.
It's your fault. You introduced me to jewelry television. I can't stop watching.
Right. The prices are amazing.
I know. There are so many different styles, and the color gemstone jewelry. Are you kidding me? Gorgeous.
And did you notice JTV also has gifts for men? I got Jake an Invicta watch that he loves.
New JTV customers receive $40 off their next purchase when they shop jtv.com/radio.
Who are you texting?
I'm not. I'm shopping JTV.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So throughout the week, I encourage you to comment, like, subscribe, smash the alert button on our YouTube page, 99.9 The Fan. I do that quite often. It's a personal favor, I often say. Personal favor, subscribe to our YouTube. Tell your friends about it. Share it. But also, when I say comment, it's not just because I want the interaction. It's also because I'm going to use you for show content. What we do is we have Dennis go through all of the YouTube videos of conversations we've had over the past week. He picks out his favorite, the best comments, questions, debates, and brings them to our show here. So we call it a feedback frenzy. And Dennis, take it away.
All right, let's actually go ahead and go to our YouTube live chat. Speaking of first goal contest, first goal scores for the Canes tonight. Brandon said, prediction for first goal, Fetch in the first period, Michigan goal.
Oh,
go with the lacrosse style goal.
First of all, I hope you're right.
I mean, if you hit that, Brandon, props, my man.
Yeah, we'll I don't know, bring you in studio if you hit that, because I don't see how else.
Hey, that's on record now.
Yeah, we'll bring you in studio. If you call the period, and it's going to be the second goal of the season for the team, a Michigan goal. Yeah, I'll go ahead and we'll give you something.
All right, earlier in our conversation today, when we had conversations about should NC State, UNC, even the Carolina Panthers make moves regarding their coaching staffs and how generally that doesn't work mid-season. Keith online said on our YouTube live chat, said, not fire, talking about UNC here, maybe not fire Mack Brown, but perhaps Mack Brown should resign to get a jump start on a new coach and hold current recruits for 2025.
The old fall on the sword technique. I think Mack is classier than that. I don't think he wants a retirement tour. I don't think he walks away in the middle of a season, right? You finish what you start. You learn that in sports at a young age. You make a commitment, you see it through. You don't give up. You finish through the line. You run hard. I don't see Mack going like, this season didn't go the way we wanted. I resign. See you later. And I don't see him saying, hey, I'm going to retire at the end of the year, so why don't you start looking for your replacement? I think UNC can do that back channels without needing Mack's approval. But also, this season is going to be Mack. He's going to be the coach. I don't see that changing.
All right, this one comes from Robert's 2 cents on the conversation we had yesterday regarding just NC State and UNC and just how they've struggled this season. Said, hey, why are you worried about football with all this midnight madness going on?
First of all, it's not midnight madness anymore. It should be. It should be.
It should be.
Midnight madness was awesome. We're gonna talk about football, but we will make the room in the show necessary for when basketball. We did a whole segment today on the AP Top 25. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited for this college basketball season. Not saying I'm not usually. I'm saying I am unusually so excited for the college basketball season this year. I think there's a lot of really good storylines here in the Triangle and in college basketball nationally. I think it's going to be a good season. So we'll make the time, just like we're going to make the time for the Canes, just like we're going to make the time for all the football teams. It is survival of the fittest around here. You want to be in the show, you better be interesting. We're not just filling time because it's that time of year where we got too much stuff going on.
All right, this one comes from Tom. Tom DeMeo says,
hey, Tom.
I said it a couple weeks ago, NC State is an average team with a terrible run defense. There's little to no hope for a team like NC State. Carolina isn't good either, but they will beat State down this year.
I will say it is a bad year to play UNC if you can't stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
What I would also say is
maybe NC State will find a running game against UNC.
Syracuse didn't run the ball all over State.
They did not.
They threw it for almost 350 yards. So pick your poison, which Wake Forest ran all over NC State, especially in the fourth quarter. Listen, State has issues. There's UNC has issues. There's no way to hide it. Right? You can close one eye, you can squint with the other, you can do your best to put it together with smoke and mirrors. They have issues, both. And they're both going to try to take advantage of it in that last game of the year. So who wins? I want to see the next 4 weeks before we make those picks. But yeah, I agree with you. State has some issues stopping the run.
All right, this next one comes from Tar Heel Huddle. Carolina has no excuse. Talking about the Tar Heels, UNC. Carolina has no excuse. 20-plus seniors/graduates in the two deep, and Criswell has been more than good enough to win football games. Time to thank Mack for all he's done and start the new head coach search at the end of the season. With all these older guys leaving, it'll be the perfect time to start fresh and build upon whatever foundation is still in Chapel Hill. So he's asking for an end of the year.
And by the way, if you have a good idea that Mack Brown is going to be moving on after this season, again, I keep saying this, there are back channels in every business, right?
Oh, yeah.
You call up a friend just to see how they're doing. You might float like, have you ever been in Chapel Hill in the fall? It's pretty nice. Just, catch a vibe, because then if and when Mack Brown does make the decision, you like, we thank you very much, Mack. Press conference at 10 a.m. By 11:30, you're on the phone with who you hope is going to be the next head coach of UNC. So, like, you can put things in motion classy, not disrespecting anyone, but be prepared for whatever happens. So, is there no excuse? I think they've mishandled the quarterback position in a big way. Not to say Jacoby Criswell has been the issue, but to say the quarterback shuffle that they had at the first part of this year really set him off on the wrong foot. So, yes, that in a lot of ways that falls on coaching.
All right, next one actually comes from a conversation we had earlier today about NC State basketball getting 0 votes in the AP Top 25.
Look at that.
So the video that's already posted on YouTube, AMSO97 says, not only no votes for NC State, but no votes when Wake Forest and High Point got votes.
I don't know. That sounds very personal towards Wake. We can make fun of High Point. I think Wake's going to have a good team.
I think so, too.
As far as, like, core scorers and core main players, Wake has a significant amount more returning than NC State. Hunter Salas was their best player last year.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue the two best players for NC, three maybe if you include Mo Diarra, best players for NC State a season ago are not returning. So that feels like a unintended ricochet shot at Wake Forest. But High Point, yeah, I got to put my hand up. Don't know all of the players. I haven't dissected the High Point roster too aggressively. But I could see NC State being upset that High Point has votes and NC State does not.
All right, this is actually regarding the Carolina Panthers. These next two. Actually, I'm going to give you two comments here in a row here, Tim, because it just kind of shows you like different opposite views that these two individuals have regarding quarterback when it comes to the Carolina Panthers. Dalton does help the Panthers in the future because any/all development of the young guys on offense stops if Young, referring to Bryce Young, gets put back in. If you don't want to waste Xavier Legette, Coker, and et al. On top of the Young mistake, you have to play a quarterback who can play well enough to let them actually develop. But then Mr. Mega Gamerman says it's about time to put Bryce back in. The season is over and has been for a while. Andy Dalton is Andy Dalton. Time to stick with the plan, man.
So this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. I'm on the side of if Dave Canales in his heart of hearts, his true place, right, where he can't lie, not even to himself, thinks that Bryce Young is so bad.
How bad is he?
That you can't evaluate the other players, then you don't play him. However, I would say this. Adam Thielen caught 100 passes last year. If you put Xavier Legette in the Adam Thielen role, is 100 catches not enough to evaluate Xavier Legette? He was good enough to get a wide receiver 1,000 yards and 100 catches last year.
Yeah, but no one else did anything.
Mingo, Chark, is that on Bryce, or are they killing it in their next situations? Is Jonathan Mingo suddenly a 80 yards per game guy with Andy Dalton, or is he doing weird things like catching it falling down when no one's around him? Is DJ Chark, I don't even know where he went. Is he out with San Diego or L.A.?
Yeah, Chargers.
Is he? They don't have any. Lad McConkey, I guess, is their number one. They moved on from Mike Williams. They moved on from Keenan Allen, and he's out there. Did he slide into that role? No. It's I think you can, if you get Bryce Young playing at least as well as he played last year, which is kind of Dave Canales' job, I think you play Bryce. And if you can get him playing better than last year, you definitely play Bryce, which, again, is Dave Canales' job.
Yeah, but we saw him this year in the 2 games. Duke can throw a pass more than 10 yards downfield.
Well, I'm saying he could. Let's.
Well, I mean, like, couldn't accurately or complete one more than 10 yards downfield.
But he did last year.
Yeah, but this is not last year. This is now.
That's Dave Canales' job. He's the coach that was brought in to make the quarterback work.
Well, it's also on Bryce to, I don't know, not throw interceptions.
It's on both. It's on both.
I put it on Bryce.
How? He was here without the coach, and he was able to do it, and now he's here with the coach, and he's not able to do it. And you're not putting anything on Dave Canales?
Everything around Bryce got better, and he stunk.
Except for maybe – and
everything around him got better. Weapons got better. Offensive line protection, running games all got better, and he stunk.
Did play calling.
Yeah, but he couldn't complete a pass.
I'm just saying, Dave Canales has to own some of it. Has to. He's the head coach. If you're not going to play Bryce, you better have a really, really, really gosh darn good reason. And if you honestly believe you can't evaluate, and by the way, it's not like, it's Bryce Young or 1997 John Elway. Like it's Bryce Young or Andy Dalton, who isn't lighting it up. I would say is replacement level average NFL quarterback. And also, I do think you need to evaluate Bryce. Unless you're 100% that he is out, it's not just evaluating everyone else. It's also evaluating Bryce. If you're 100% out, trade him, cut him, move on. If he's on your roster, you're at least curious. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial Advisory Group. Coach Pete, who I talk about all the time with Capital, he is passionate about helping guide you through retirement. And after 3 decades in the financial arena, he is still building customized and total retirement playbooks. In fact, he recently told me about the game-changing strategy behind a successful and total retirement plan. And he told it to me in my language. He said, it's just like football. You want to gain yards as you advance the ball down the field on offense and have a defensive strategy in place to protect yourself. Bottom line, you don't want to lose your gains. Well, you don't have to. And you don't have to depend on the market to lock in your gains. With this blueprint, you can be sure to keep those gains. A strategy that Wall Street tries to keep from you, but Coach Pete is passionate about helping folks build their retirement with this very strategy. Give them a call, and they can build one out for you, a completely customized retirement plan. The number to call is 800-691-3215. If you tell them you heard about it from me, Tim, they'll not only hook you up with the retirement plan, but one of Coach Pete's 7 Baby Steps box sets for free. But you have to let them know you heard about it here. So say, hey, Tim told me to call 800-691-3215. Or if you're more of a texter than a caller, text Tim, T-I-M, that's my name, Tim, to 600-700. Text Tim to 600-700 for Capital Financial Advisory Group. Starting 5 is coming up next, including an update on the New York Mets and the Major League Baseball playoffs. Stick around.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Carrier to it, stalls in front. Carrier rips it. They score! Oh, Captain, my Captain! It's 1-0 Carolina.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Now back to Slavin. He shot right on. Rebounds out in front. Chance up front. They score! Here come the Hats!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
Hey, at Total Wine & More, you'll love what you find this Halloween.
Me thirsty.
Oh, hey, Frankenstein. Did you enjoy that Cabernet?
Oh, good. Want new red.
Well, all the villagers are raving about this red blend.
Ooh.
And we have it at the lowest price in town.
Economical.
Find what you love and love what you find with the totally lowest prices for Halloween. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, as Week 7 is pretty close, actually. Broncos and Saints. Oh my gosh, Sean Payton going against his former team. So, new customers, you bet $5, win that bet, and get $300 in bonus bets. That is incentive to you. Pick an easy one, like Sean Payton yelling at his quarterback. That's minus money. So, here we go. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/AdamGold. Have some fun. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces away into the end zone. Touchdown!
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. The clouds are increasing across the area. We have spotty light rain in the forecast this evening and overnight. It's about a 40% chance. A low 45. Partly cloudy, breezy, and cool for your Wednesday. The high hovers around 60.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 324 points to 42,740.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. And it is time for the starting five. Let's go ahead and start with number 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The Major League Baseball playoffs continue. Tonight there is Yankees Guardians after the Yankees won game 1 yesterday. So it's not must win, but it's pretty pivotal game 2 for the Guardians to even up the series, which is exactly what the New York Mets did yesterday.
I always felt game 2 was more important than game 1 of a 7-game series, because I felt that it was, all right, if I'm trailing down 1, okay, I can even the series. But if I'm up 1-0, hey, if I win game 2, I'm in a pretty commanding lead. So to me, game 2 has always felt a little bit more important than game 1.
I'll agree with that. I mean, the kind of simple logic is the next game is always more important in a series.
Sure, but of the two.
The cliche is always when there's a tie, right, when it's 1-1, 2-2, it becomes pivotal game 3, pivotal game 5.
Of course.
And I actually might agree with you more that it's when a team is down 1 that it's really, truly more pivotal. Because, if it's 2-2, the most you can be ahead is 1 game after that. Like, the gap is just inherently as close as it could possibly be. So it is a big game for the Guardians and the Yankees today. What I will say is Vientos is a beast. Vientos is 24 years old for the Mets. He had a grand slam in the second inning to help send the Dodgers packing with a loss, which is awesome for the Mets. I am going to continue to be wildly, overly confident in my New York Mets and hope that it just keeps working. They doubled up the Dodgers in hits. I really like they have Luis Severino on the mound today. I've been a Severino fan since his time with the Yankees. I just think he's not as a fan of the Yankees, just like, hey, I think that guy's a good pitcher. So I'm confident going into Game 3 here for the Mets tomorrow. As I said, today it's all about the Guardians and the Yankees.
By the way, the Guardians, I think, had 5 wild pitches yesterday.
And they gave up some runs on wild pitches.
Yeah, a couple times the Yankees scored on wild pitches. I'm like, you just don't see that too often. It's like, hey, guys, take a deep breath.
I want to make sure I have this right. Yeah.
Throw the ball over the plate. You've done it before.
Catcher, keep it in front of you.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, it was Judge scored. I saw that it was their first or second run. Judge scored on a wild pitch. And I wasn't watching the game at the time. I was checking the stats, and I went, Judge scored on a wild pitch? Judge is an athlete, man. That
dude's an edge rusher.
He is massive, and for years and years and years and years, there was a place for those players, right? Just the Paul Bunyan home run hitters. But those guys don't even walk off the base on a wild pitch. They just go, someone's gonna have to hit me home. Like, I'm not. The sprinting isn't what this redwood does. Aaron Judge, though, he can play center. He can run. He can players are getting better, man. They're getting more and more crazy. And you're right. He is a tight end playing the wrong sport or playing the right sport, making a lot more money. That one should be a fun one tonight between the Guardians and the Yankees, by the way. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
So last night there was a Monday Night Football game between the Bills and the Jets. The Bills won, and then both teams went on a crusade to get better.
Right.
The Jets added Devontae Adams seemingly in the middle of the night. Aaron Rodgers told the Pat McAfee show that he learned about 12:45 last night that the Devontae deal was happening. And then while he was talking to Pat McAfee, guess who walked into the background of the Zoom?
That Devontae Adams. He took a red eye.
Look at that. He's already hanging out with A-Rod. And then the Bills added Amari Cooper. So they both played a game on Monday, and by Tuesday lunch had brought in a former Pro Bowl wide receiver. Before we talk about what they do to their teams and if they were good or bad moves, we need to talk Monday Night Football. The referees were ridiculous. The referees were absurd. And I like, have you heard the cliche you could call holding on every play?
Yeah.
They tried. It was multiple, like, you got to the point where you were just rooting for offsetting penalties because it felt like that was fair. Defensive backs were getting called for touchy pass interference. There were holds all over the place. There was a play, I can't emphasize this enough, where the defensive lineman sacked Aaron Rodgers. 3rd down, edge rusher, nice move inside, and he tackled Aaron Rodgers. That's the entirety. I wish I could give you more specifics of, like, he pile-drived him, he picked him up and suplexed him, he speared him in the... No, he just tackled Aaron Rodgers, and it was roughing the passer, which is weird because he didn't pass. Unsportsmanlike conduct, I guess. Unnecessary roughness, tackling too hard. I don't get it. It made no sense to me. Aaron Rodgers immediately stood up, and you could, if you want to read lips, it looked like he said, "That's tough," to the defensive player. Like, I don't know what you're supposed to do there. After the game, he in a post-game press conference, the quarterback was saying, "Yeah, that hit on me wasn't anything bad." It's ridiculous. As a former quarterback, I am in favor of quarterbacks being football players. Let them get hit. Give us a little street cred. Because here's the thing. I played college football, played college quarterback. In practice, we never get hit. In practice, we barely run. You wear a different color jersey. No one's allowed to touch you. If anybody gets within a certain radius of you, coaches freak out because if you throw and you follow through on someone's helmet, you're likely to break a finger. So you're just untouchable in practice. Like when I say you don't even really run, there was my junior and senior year, we got the GPS trackers. They weren't as good as they are now. So miles per hour wasn't a thing, but they would just track how far we ran. And during training camp, it used to be, I forget what the number was. Like if you ran less than X amount of distance in a practice, you had to run a gasser for every quarter mile that you didn't make it to the minimum. Receivers would be tripling the minimum. Quarterbacks, we'd have 15 gassers at the end of practice because we just didn't move. We stayed in a pocket. So we got smart, by the way. We started like zigzagging to different drills. We'd snake everywhere, just trying to get a few extra because we didn't want to run all these gassers at the end of practice, which is just a sprint. But I say all that to say this. People could always, other positions could make fun of us for not working hard, not doing all of that, but we always had this one trump card. In the games, we took the hardest hits because we're just sitting there like a sitting duck, and if you ever don't see them, you get lit up 6 or 7 times a season, and by standing up and playing through that, you get the only ounce of honor you get from like linebackers is the fact that you take those hits and you stand up and you keep playing. And they're trying to take that away from us. They're trying to take away the only bit of street cred we have as quarterbacks. Let quarterbacks be players too. They want to play football just like everybody else. Shout out to Lamar Jackson, by the way. If you're going to throw an interception, make the tackle. Give us that little bit of street cred. Devontae Adams to the Jets. I don't think they were a wide receiver away. I think they might be offensive lineman or two away, maybe a tight end.
Maybe a pass rush.
I don't know. It's just things aren't coming together. Maybe a coach of some kind. Like, I think they had the talent already. It seemed like they needed to just be used differently. And now Devontae Adams, Rodgers will throw him the ball 20 times a game. For the Bills, though, Amari Cooper is an interesting one. Amari Cooper has not been having a good season.
Well, it doesn't hurt or it doesn't help that your quarterback is Deshaun Watson.
A little I want to make sure I have this right here. A little chicken or the egg, though. The number 2 player in the NFL in drops, so wide receiver, most drops. Number 2 is Darnell Mooney with 5. Number 1, Amari Cooper with 9. Could that be like just bad vibes on the offense? You know, I wasn't expecting it to be on target, and it surprised me. Maybe.
May have a little I don't want to be here to do with it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe the Bills are banking on that almost. That it was just miserable in Cleveland, and he's going to get to Buffalo and be re-energized. For reference, by the way, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had like a bunch of high-profile drops this week, they have 8 drops as a team. Amari Cooper has 9 by himself. So Buffalo is banking on him figuring it out this season and basically saying, like, Josh Allen throws a more catchable and more fun pass than Deshaun Watson, which I don't think anyone would argue with. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3. The college basketball men's AP Top 25 came out yesterday. 2 ACC teams in the top 25. How? How? I mean, I wish I had a more in-depth question, right? Like, well, you know, based on evidence. No, it's just how. The ACC is a very, 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 very good basketball conference, and it proves it darn near every year. And they recruit at a high level, and they hit the transfer portal at a high level, and they have returning players coming back at a high level. 2 with 25. By the way, it's Duke at 7, UNC at 9. And the disrespect doesn't stop there. NC State is a defending Final Four team. They didn't receive a single vote. Not a single vote. Not one Associated Press top 25 voter said, well, they won the ACC and made it to the Final Four last year. I'm going to give them a 25th place vote just so, people understand that winning matters. But no. I don't get it.
I want to know who these 60 stooges are that voted on this poll here. And just like what I really want to know, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? And what kind of crack were you smoking? That's kind of I want to know from these guys, or these individuals. Like 60 people said, not one of these 60 said, yeah, NC State, you are worthy of at least being on my ballot. But one person said, hey, High Point, you're good enough. High Point, who didn't even win their conference tournament last year. Were they even in the NCAA tournament? No. Arkansas Pine Bluff got. Well, I didn't realize there was a school called that.
That is one of the things that I kind of that frustrates me is you could say NC State lost DJ Burns, lost DJ Horn, lost Mo Diarra, so we can't. There's outside of maybe the top 10, and I said that. Like, I'm not arguing NC State is a favorite to win the national championship. Every team has a bit of projection.
Yeah.
You're projecting Louisville, who got votes. You're projecting High Point, who you just brought up. You're projecting all of them like, oh, the transfers are going to work. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. It is it's frustrating to me that the ACC doesn't get the benefit of the doubt, even after proving why you should give them the benefit of the doubt. Why should NC State get the benefit of the doubt? Maybe because they just went on one of the most magical runs in college basketball history, from 11th in the ACC to Final Four. You can't count them out. So what do? The first thing you do, you count them out. Like, think about how illogical that is.
Like, you mentioned Louisville. Louisville has 12 new transfers to their team and a new head coach.
And I'm just,
it's like, what have they done
it's all
to
projection.
warrant any sort of? What have they done?
And this is a little like ACC on ACC crime right now, talking down on Louisville. But I'm just using what we know to show that there's no rhyme or reason for how these voters are putting their votes in. So if they're that off base just between two ACC teams, how are they not going to be off base between a Pac-12 and a ACC team, or a Big 12 and an ACC team? This is going to be a long season if we have to start defending them before games even get played.
Have they even had their Midnight Madness?
A lot.
I don't think they've had it yet.
The ACC is good.
Imagine that.
And it's not just Duke and Carolina either, by the way.
Speaking of which, ACC women's basketball preseason poll actually just came out.
Notre Dame, I haven't seen this yet.
Notre Dame picked to finish first. They had 70 first-place votes. NC State picked to finish second. Duke picked to finish third. UNC picked to finish sixth in the ACC in women's basketball. That's a stacked conference, by the way.
Speaking of, the ACC is good.
Imagine that.
Basketball matters at these schools. Basketball matters at these schools. Don't forget that. That is number 3. Let's go to number 2.
Just the two of us.
Payton Wilson going into the Ring of Honor at NC State. He was a player on NC State last year. That's the fast track. There is definitely something to be said for, if you go back and listen to our shows last year, we were extremely high on Payton Wilson all year. I was driving the bandwagon for him to win National Players of the Year awards and everything else. Seeing that defense without him almost makes me appreciate him even more. Like, oh, we weren't high enough on him a season ago. He should have been drafted even higher despite the medical injury scares. He covered some things up in that defense. He is fast, he is big, he is strong, he is a tackling monster, and he is going into the Ring of Honor, and rightfully so. That's, like I said, it's the fast track. It's less than a year after he was playing for NC State. He's now going into the Ring of Honor for NC State. That's cool. And it's appropriate. Sometimes I think it's weird that it's like, oh, once you retire, you have to wait 5 years. I mean, I think as soon as you say definitively you're not coming back, put him in the Hall of Fame. Let him enjoy being in the Hall of Fame as long as they possibly can. Put him in the Ring of Honor. Let him enjoy being in the Ring of Honor. He's playing for your Steelers. How's he doing up there?
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
It's awesome. It's wonderful. It's also one of those things when I see him play, I'm like, you just have that feeling like he takes a hit or delivers a hit. You're like, okay, man, pop back up. All right, he popped back up. Just because, again, his injury history is just, it's long, it's extensive, and Because of that, I don't know how long his NFL career is going to be, just because I simply don't know how well his body's going to hold up to handle the rigors of playing the sport. I really don't, which stinks.
They aren't, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I watched one or two Steelers games like extensively.
Mm-hmm.
They don't play him like he's not an every down player.
No, he's not.
They're either saving some tread or there's other guys who they just want out there more.
Well, they had 2 starting middle linebackers already. I know they have Landon Roberts and they signed Patrick Queen this offseason, so he's a rotational player for him. Plays a lot in sub packages because he's really great in pass coverage because he's so darn fast. So that's why they use him a lot. And guess what? Plays a lot of special teams and makes a ton of tackles because that's just what he does.
I think he needs to be better than on special teams. He needs to be out there on defense.
Oh no, he gets a lot on defense too.
That's good to know. He's just a good player, and he's going to the Ring of Honor. Congratulations.
That's got to be kind of cool to be like recognized like Ring of Honor.
Do you know what I think is actually the coolest part about it? Like Bill Cowher went into the NC State Ring of Honor. I think it was last season.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Cowher obviously played at State decades ago. Went on to have a storied career as a coach in the NFL, win a Super Bowl, all that. Speaking of the Steelers, Peyton Wilson is going to go into the Ring of Honor, and his like buddies and former teammates and guys that he like was at the dining hall with are still going to be on the team. Bill Cowher was there, like as the old former player. Peyton Wilson is going to have his buddies like, hey Peyton, what should I do on third down? Like it's still all fresh, which is cool for his friends. Like, hey, let's meet at the restaurant spot after the game.
He's averaging nearly 50% of the snaps on defense, by the way.
That's with his injury history, that's probably a good number for him. By the way, somebody on Twitter sent me, we can find out. I didn't know this was public. We can find out who voted for what in the AP.
Oh yeah, I knew it was somewhere around out there.
I can forward it to you.
Please
but
do.
If we want to click around, we can find out. We have to click maybe up to 60 times.
Sometimes you get like a local writer or local broadcaster that is an AP voter, and they'll vote for the local team.
Just because? Why not?
Just because, like that's kind of what happens. The local person around here.
I'm so trying to very quickly find the person that voted for.
That's fine. We can.
I know, but it would just be fun to call them out by name right now.
Okay,
but I can't do it.
That's fine.
I can't click them all. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
The one.
Canes tonight versus the Devils.
Let's go.
Right here on 99.9 The Fan. So you keep it tuned here. You're good. We'll take you up to Stormwatch. Adam Gold will get you ready. Mike Maniscalco and the crew will bring you the action. The Devils have already played 5 games. They've won 4 of them. They're playing well. I'll in the interest of providing both sides of an argument for you, I have a buddy that is a big Devils fan. So I texted them and I said, like, hey, give me the rundown. I know they're playing well. I see the stats. I saw Nason scored, blah, 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 blah. And this is what he had to say. This is what it's 2 of them. This is what they said. We're a wagon, and Jack hasn't even scored yet.
Talking about Jack Hughes.
Yeah, that is a heck of a, and wait till we get full strength. Brett Pesce still hasn't played for them.
And Luke Hughes I don't think, has played
And
yet.
Luke Hughes still waiting on that as well, and they're already a wagon. So the Canes better put their hard hat on, right? You're going into a game against a very good team. Their top 2 lines are very good, very well established. Their third line has been playing the best hockey for them this year. So, again, it's one of those hey, that's pretty good things. But I'll say this. They've gotten 5 games to kind of get rolling. So the Canes are in a different part of their season, right? They're barely out of the starters blocks here. So it's a really, really interesting game from I believe that perspective on, obviously Rod Brindamore is not going to give you any excuses and say we're a little bit rusty there in the groove. But it would make sense if that is something that is evident early on, which is why, again, I think you need to look towards your stars. I love that Stahl scored the first goal of the last game, right? Set the tone, and then the problem was, he kicked in the door and nobody else ran through it with him. Once somebody sets the tone like that, then it needs to be, building on top of each other. And if the Canes get off to a quick start, I think that's something they need to work on, not just letting it be quick start and build and build and build. I'm also excited. Do you know what I'm excited for? I'm excited. I felt like a Jay Leno. Hey, you know what I'm excited for? Kevin, what am I excited for? I'm excited to have 2 games to judge this team. I'm excited to have 3 games and 4 games to judge this team. Because right now it does feel like we put so much emphasis on that first game against Tampa, and it's like, I don't know, you gave up a couple power play goals. Where's the PK? I don't know. Power play 1, and where are the chances? Why didn't Svetch find the back of the net on that setup from Jarvis? Now, if it's 10 games in and you're still not finding the back of the net in your Svetch, we have an issue. But for right now, it's really not. It's just all we have to talk about. So I'm excited to have a whole other game of sample size to really dive into what this year's Canes team is going to be. And it's, like I said at the beginning of the season, it's going to be different. Last year, we kind of already knew at this point in time what they were going to be. We knew the guys. We knew the roles. We knew Orlov would take 15 to 20 games to get rolling. This year, it's different. There's a lot of new pieces. Carrier looked pretty darn awesome. But I also don't want to do the reverse, right? Like if somebody looked bad for one game, if Aho was non-existent at times for one game, I'm not going to pile on that. So I also don't want to anoint Carrier as the next great Kane after one game. I'm trying to just pump the brakes. So it's 2. We got another one that we can throw some weight behind. Anything you're looking forward to specifically there, Dennis?
I hope to see the power play do something.
Yeah. And I'd like to see the PK not give up something. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I want to tell you about Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fox and Bailey Watch Shop. I was over there over the weekend talking with the fellas in the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, the guys that work there. And I'll tell you right now, if you have a question about watches, you want to maybe dabble in the luxury watch market, or you want something that you can wear versatile-wise, meaning you can wear it to work, you can wear it over the weekend, you can wear it hanging out at a barbecue. If you have any questions, ask. They know the answers, right? I was throwing out like the watches I really like, and they were going in deep with, oh, they just came out with this, or, oh, have you seen the latest version of that, or are you into the vintage market? It's pretty darn cool. And then on top of that, right, you get something like Omega, which is a brand that everybody in the timepiece world is very aware of, and they can walk you over to their one-of-a-kind, second largest in the country, Omega Boutique, on the left side when you walk into Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Raleigh's Village District location. You go in there, it's awesome. I mean, the Speedmasters, the Seamasters, the DeVille, the Rail Masters, the Globe Masters, the Constellations. If you're a watch fan, you know what I'm talking about. It's a absolutely exquisite Omega boutique, and as I said, it's the second largest of its kind. And it's all at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, located downtown or down in the Village District location in Raleigh. Check it out. If you're a watch fan, you will not be disappointed. Right now, we need some contestants for the numbers game. We have a $25 gift card to Sammy's Tap and Grill, home of the Pittsburgh watch parties for every pro football game, located at 2235 Avon Ferry Road in Raleigh. The $25 gift card will go to the winner of the numbers game. If you want to win, you have to play. If you want to play, you have to call in now. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Call in now. Numbers game next.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
The Blue Devils up 21-20, and they got their arms reaching for that bell.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med, Sammy's Tap and Grill, and Roofworks.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed a musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Tar Heel Basement Systems comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at TarHeelBasementSystems.com/row, and while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
This is it, Ram Power Days. John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington has the deal you've been waiting for on your brand new Ram 1500. Ready for this? 25% off. John Heister in Lillington has 25% off all new 2024 Ram 1500s right now. That's like getting a fourth of your new truck for free. That couldn't be more worth getting off your keister for. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington for 25% off your new Ram 1500.
That's a deal, yeah. McDonald's money. I got McDonald's money. One meal just to make me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get a hot and spicy patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow, yeah, McDonald's don't miss, yeah. On the app or the drive-thru quick, yeah. $5, that's a deal, yeah. McDonald's money. I got McDonald's money.
At participating McDonald's.
Adam Gold here from my friends at Travers LASIK and Dr. Lori Travers, the only LASIK specialist in the Triangle. And twice in the last week, people have asked me, how was it? And I've told them it's great. Not only is it great, but it's been great for about a dozen years. That's right. I met Dr. Lori Travers more than 10 years ago. She took me from 20/250 to 20/20 vision, and, pardon the pun, I have never looked back. I want you to do the same thing. 919-510-6830. You can get a free consultation. We love free. Also, 2 years, 0 interest financing is available. Takes about 5 minutes per eye, and you could go back to work the very next day. 919-510-6830. TraversLASIK.com. If you are sick and tired of glasses and contacts, Dr. Lori Travers needs to be your next call. 919-510-6830 for Travers LASIK. The consultation is free. Perfect. TraversLASIK.com.
When it comes to excellence, sometimes one name says it all. Sound Station and Security.
That's not one name.
True, but Sound Station and Security does so much, our name can't contain it all. We're famous for home theaters, automotive audio and video, and we do full service for your vehicle. Alignments, inspection, oil changes, window tints, custom exhaust.
Is there an acronym for all that?
Don't even try. Just remember Sound Station and Security in Raleigh, Smithfield, and at myhotsound.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. Our contestants, as I have to refresh the page in front of me, which I may have actually lost a little internet here.
Oh, okay. Well, I got you here. We have Cameron, who's down at Club Lenovo at the Lenovo Center.
There we go.
And we have Eric in Wake Forest.
Cameron and Eric, as I figure this out, Dennis, what question should we ask him? Wow,
First goal predictions.
My computer is going crazy.
First goal prediction tonight.
Are you? Well, then, before we do that, and I think my computer just reloaded here.
Okay.
Are you willing to pick a favorite answer out of the first goal score?
I will.
Okay. Cameron is actually over at the Lenovo Center, you say? Is that Club
Yeah,
Club
he's at
Lenovo?
Club Lenovo.
All right, Cameron, from the Lenovo Center, so channel the vibes from the ice and the facilities. Who's going to score the first goal for the Canes tonight, and in what period?
I'm going to go with one of the newbies, William Carrier, and I'll go with the first period.
Carrier in the first. Okay. Very solid answer. We'll go to Eric in Wake Forest. Eric, same question to you. Who scores the first goal of the game for the Carolina Hurricanes, and in what period?
Nature's first period.
Nature's in the first. Those are two, I think very astute answers. Dennis, you said you were willing to pick. Which one is the better answer?
Oh, this is actually a really, really tough
one. That's why I knew it was going to be tough.
I really do like Carrier. I think he really fits in well with what Rob Brind'Amour wants to do. But I think just for the fact that it's a big year for him, Martin Necas, I think just kind of needs one. I'm gonna go Eric in this one and Necas.
All right, Martin.
Both great
Necas
answers,
gets the win on the first question to see who goes first.
He needs a win, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. For Eric. So, Cameron, go ahead and send the line, but you will have your chance. Eric, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right. The categories for you are to choose from: NFL, Nick of Time, all players who have Nick somewhere in their names. NFL North Carolina born players, Baseball Hall of Famers, or the NHL Canes and Whalers only.
Let's go with Baseball Hall of Famers. What the heck?
All right. The playoffs are going on. In honor of that, we have Baseball Hall of Famers. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope. Let's go.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Mariano Rivera, New York Yankees.
39.
Incorrect. Todd Helton, Colorado Rockies.
Hello?
Todd Helton, Colorado Rockies.
15.
Incorrect. Mariano Rivera, New York Yankees.
Pass.
Ryan Sandberg, Chicago Cubs.
24.
Incorrect. Todd Helton, Colorado Rockies.
39.
Incorrect. Tough one for you. Mariano Rivera is kind of famously number 42 with the Yankees.
42.
He was one of the last to be grandfathered in where they could wear it regularly and it wasn't retired for Jackie Robinson, which it is now. Todd Helton with Colorado wore number 17, and Ryan Sandberg with the Cubs wore number 23. You did get close on both of those. You just didn't get them on the nose. Good news for you.
They've both been out for a while, so I missed it.
Good news for you, though, is a tie would go to you by way of going first. So you're still alive if it's a double offer. Can't say I'm rooting for you.
All righty.
That brings us to Cameron over there at Club Lenovo. Cameron, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, the categories for you to choose from are NFL, in the nick of time, all players with Nick somewhere in their name. NFL, North Carolina born, or NHL, Canes and Whalers only?
Canes Whalers.
All right, I had a feeling over there at Club Lenovo you might pick this category. I will give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. I will say the team, even though we know it in this category, just to keep it fair with the others. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You need at least one correct for the win. Any questions before we get started?
No, I'm good.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Jack Drury, Carolina Hurricanes.
16.
Incorrect. Antti Ranta, Carolina Hurricanes.
32.
Correct. Jamie McBain, Carolina Hurricanes.
4.
Correct. Cam Ward, Carolina Hurricanes.
30.
Correct. Anthony Stewart, Carolina Hurricanes.
25. 28.
Incorrect. Jack Drury, Carolina Hurricanes.
Jack Drury, I think, is 18.
Correct. Anthony Stewart, Carolina Hurricanes.
28.
Incorrect. Anthony Stewart, Carolina Hurricanes.
29.
Incorrect. Anthony Stewart, Carolina Hurricanes.
27.
I saw what you were doing there. It was going to take us a long time to get to the right answer. Anthony Stewart, number 13. Also, Jack Drury, you almost did the same thing twice where you said something else. And, no, 18. We can only take the first number you say. So luckily you slammed on the brakes early enough and you did get 18. 4 is a very solid answer. For those of you playing at home, not only was Anthony Stewart number 13, for Jamie McBain, we would have accepted 4 or 28. Wore them both. And for Drury, we would have accepted 18, which the caller got, and 72 as well. He's worn them both. Congratulations, Cameron. You're at Club Lenovo, and you just won with Canes numbers.
Good vibes for tonight, baby.
You hope so. You very much hope so. $25 gift card to Sammy's Tap and Grill is yours. You just have to stay on the line and give your info to Dennis.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That is a gift card to Sammy's Tap and Grill, home of the Pittsburgh watch parties for every pro football game, located at 2235 Avent Ferry Road in Raleigh. That was first of all good vibes right there, and it is hopefully a good omen for the game which will be played at Lenovo Center between the Canes and the Devils later tonight, which you can hear right here on 99.9 The Fan. I'm just sorry. There's one thing that's always going to make me laugh. It's field goals that hit the uprights, and there were a bunch of them last night. So I just glanced at the television here in the studio, and there was a doink right off the uprights. There was actually 2 of them last night. There's something about it. The whole game coming down to whether a skinny, flexible guy can kick it just 2 inches further to the right or left, and that ends up being the difference in a NFL big business, billion-dollar business football game. It's comical to me, but it was last night. And it happens in every single sport. And matter of fact, it's this. I mean, I don't know. It's not as comical to me in the NHL, but with a big game like the Devils and the Canes tonight, two teams that I think will be playoff teams, ringing the post or something like that, and you realize it could just be 1 degree on your shot, trajectory being a little off. You really got to button up and make sure you're on your details, because if you're not, there's a good chance it's going to be coming back to bite you. So we still have quite a bit of preview to do for that Canes and Devils game, which you can hear right here on 99.9 The Fan.
Hockey night in Carolina.
We have our first goal scorers already locked in. It's going to be a fun one. But before we get back into the hockey, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Lower mortgage rates are finally here, folks, thanks to the Fed and Loan Pronto. Now, Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.59% APR. It's the lowest in 2 years. Now, whether you got your loan last month or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto and dump that high rate loan. You can lock in a lower rate fast with virtually no paperwork and usually no appraisal. There's no limit on how many times you can refi. So get started. Use this opportunity to get cash out and wipe out your credit cards. You can do a cash out refi and get 50, 75, 100 grand or more out of your home. Use that to pay off all your high interest debt and end up with just one low monthly payment. If you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Purchase loans available as well, so call now. Get your rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. VA Streamlined loans are also available with Loan Pronto. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm talking directly to the Carolina Hurricane stars. When we come back, stick around.
Is your heating and air system ready for cooler weather? Call Newcomb & Company today to schedule a routine maintenance and ensure your system is operating at peak performance. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs for HVAC and plumbing work. Newcomb & Company has served the area as a Carrier Factory authorized dealer for more than 3 generations. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company and Carrier. Your comfort is our business.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. And there's no time like now to help Western North Carolina recover from Hurricane Helene. Through October 19th, participating Bojangles are donating all proceeds from Bowberry biscuit sales to hurricane relief efforts in Western North Carolina. So when you buy a Bowberry biscuit from Bojangles, you'll be doing something good and getting something good. What are you waiting for? It's Help Western North Carolina time.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Are you in charge of running the building maintenance plays at your workplace? If you're facing roofing issues, you gotta get RoofWorks into the game. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. You can count on us to be your MVP when it comes to taking care of your commercial building roof. We handle leaky roof repair, coatings, total replacements, upfits, and we even do commercial gutters. Let us show you what a valuable addition we are to your building maintenance team. Contact us today online at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cash back app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code KIND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code KIND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code KIND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean with Zero Res starting at just $119. And get a free dryer cleaning with the purchase of an air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResRaleigh.com. Again, ZeroResRaleigh.com.
Club Lenovo music. Canes playing tonight against the Devils. Second game of the season for the Canes. 6th of the season for the Devils. It'll be at the Lenovo Center in Raleigh. And you can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan with Stormwatch coming up in the not-too-distant future here on 99.9 The Fan as well, leading up to Puck Drop with Adam Gold. Stormwatch with Adam Gold. I know what I'm tracking this year. Okay. I think every team has certain storylines that are worth following. Like, you know, there's going to be reactions to individual games. Hey, Aho had a hat trick. Let's talk about how awesome of a scorer Aho is. Like, those will happen throughout a season. But then there's things that track throughout the entire season, right? Last year, goalie health became a thing. Remember when Yaniv Peretz was in there for 13 minutes? Remember when Spencer Martin went in and actually posted a shutout at one point in time? Like that was something that kind of weaved its way through the entire season. This year, one of the storylines I'm going to be tracking is big-time players in big-time games, right? It's the most cliche thing in the world of big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. But it's a cliche for a reason. With the reason being, you need your stars to show up in big moments. And if there's something that you can criticize the Canes for over the last 6-7 years, right? This run that has been under Brindamore, that's brought in so many fans and gotten them to the most stable place in the league, maybe, is they're great in the regular season. They can win the division. They can give you 100-plus points. They can do all of that. They can play sound hockey together, offense and defensive side of the ice. They can do it all. But when the lights get brighter, when the postseason intensity goes up, they haven't been able to raise their game to the ultimate heights. Now, the unfortunate part about that is I don't believe you can truly simulate postseason hockey. I don't believe you can truly simulate playoff sports. And it's a bummer, right? Because if you could, you would. But there are little ways that you can maybe spot check. And it's big games, right? Every game is not the same. For this Canes team, when you play the Panthers, the Florida Panthers, or you play the New York Rangers, there's going to be a little bit more intensity than if you play the Coyotes, right? Or the Sharks, right?
Now the Utah Hockey Club.
Oh, yeah, you're right. What a bad random guess or random grab that was from me. Utah, even better. There's no history there. It's going to be a little less intense. But when you play those big games, right, it feels like you circle them on your calendar. I want to see the Stars perform in that game. And when I say the Stars, it's the core four that we talk about, Aho, Jarvis, Fetch, Slavin. I want to see them have some of their best games when there is a more intense spotlight. I want them to win. Like tonight's game against the Devils. It's not a small game, but it's not a big game, right? Kind of a regular season game. It's a important game. I want them to win. They need to win these games, but I am confident they will win a high percentage of these games. I'm confident the Canes, coached by Rod Brindamore, led by this core of players, Jordan Stahl's the captain, will be just fine in the regular season games. They're going to win enough points. They're going to go to the postseason. I'm confident in that. But I do feel like I think there's a little something left on the table, usually with these teams, in the games that are a little bit more heightened. I thought the opening night is one of those. Opening night, big game, and your home ice. You got Tampa, which is one of those teams that does raise the Q score a little bit, the fame score a little bit. Gensel's on the other side. I thought that the intensity should have been big game feel, and there were moments, maybe stretches, where you kind of forgot Sebastian Aho was out there. Where you're just like, oh yeah, there he is. That can't happen in a game that is a little bit heightened. If a role player wants to disappear a little bit in a big game, fine. But Aho can't. And I referenced it earlier. Jarvis to Svetch. Svetch has to finish that. If you get a nice setup from one of your stars and you're a star, you got to find the back of the net.
Yeah. That was in the second period too.
And it's in a normal game, I think you might be able to overcome that, right? You know what? Missed that one. Set me up again, Seth. But in a big game, you don't know how many of those opportunities you're going to get. Right? When we talk about how difficult it is for the team to win on Hall of Fame nights or when they're hanging numbers in the rafter nights. And it's like, well, yeah, there's a little extra intensity in the room. Some people just thrive on it. So, I mean, maybe for the term, right? Power play. If you're on power play 1, I need you to make plays in big games. So we'll have to decide kind of as each game approaches ahead of time, right? Because I'm big on accountability. I don't like going and saying things after the fact. We'll have to decide ahead of time if a game is like just a little bit bigger than a normal one.
I would say divisional games like this one against New Jersey, anytime I'm playing the Rangers.
A little bit of a boost. Yeah, Rangers for sure.
The Florida Panthers
for
when they come in. Those definitely get a little bit of the up and up. The Islanders as well, especially since you've played them so often in the playoffs over the last 6 years.
If you catch like a nationally televised game, maybe.
Oh, like Friday?
Like Friday. If you catch one of those, I think that might become a bigger game. It's again, you're not going to simulate postseason hockey. But there's levels to regular season hockey, and if my best players average their best performances in the biggest games, I'm much more confident going into the postseason than I would be if it's like, they're undefeated against teams below 500, and the Stars are averaging 1.5 points a game in those games, but they go quiet against the good teams. That would frustrate me, and that would make me worried about the postseason. And everything I just said might go double or triple for the goalies. I want goalies when the intensity ramps up to somehow calm down and play better, and be more comfortable. And it crosses sports. I was talking about it ironically with Adam Gold, who's getting ready to host Stormwatch for you in a little bit here on 99.9 The Fan and host the Adam Gold Show before this one every day. We're both big Mets fans, and we were talking about it with the Mets because Vientos is a very young player, and he doesn't appear to be nervous at all during this postseason for the Mets. Hit a grand slam yesterday. And I think Francisco Lindor, who's on the Mets, has a big part in that because Lindor is the veteran. He's the $300 million player, and that guy could not be more relaxed. He's like, borderline like too silly and loosey-goosey out there for an NLCS. And I think Vientos is looking at it and going, oh, if he's not nervous, I shouldn't be nervous. Because remember, yesterday, as I said, Vientos hit a grand slam in the second inning. Guess what happened in the first inning? Francisco Lindor, the star, hit a leadoff home run. Your stars have to make plays in big games, thus everyone else can kind of rally behind and figure it out. That's one thing I'm going to be tracking for the Canes all season.
Yeah, Mark Vientos is just a couple months shy of his 25th birthday. He's a youngin'.
I want to say he's like the youngest, maybe youngest Met. Now I'm just making up stats. I think it was youngest Met to hit 2 home runs in a postseason game.
Might be.
Like ever. They've had some good young stars. I need the stars to be that, so then, other guys that maybe aren't of your level can feel comfortable playing their game. So tonight I almost want to rank it. I almost want to set the intensity level of out of 10, how big of a game is this? 5 being your run-of-the-mill regular season game. I think tonight's probably like a 6. So I need to see the stars play a little bit better.
Where does it fall on the Def Canales level?
Def Canales? It's like a 3. It's like 3.5. 2.5. I went the wrong direction.
Yeah.
It's slightly above average intensity today. It's above average because it's a divisional game, but it's not like it's not the most hated in the division. So it's slightly above. So I need Aho and Svech and Jarvis to play slightly above their resting heart rate level. Slightly above. When the Panthers come to town, I need them to play like an 8 out of 10. I need to give them something big because I really like beating that team.
Oh, yeah. As do I.
Let's quickly play some Rod Brindamore sound. What he wants to see from the power play.
It's execution. That's what special teams comes down to. Everybody has the plan. Everybody knows what the other team's doing. Everybody knows what you're doing. Okay, you still got to stop it, and you still got to be the passes got to be right. You got to get it to the right guys. You got to understand where the pressure's coming from. You got to be one step ahead. I think when the penalty kill is good, they're one step ahead. When the power play is good, the power play is one step ahead, and obviously that's what you see.
I do think it's just a never-ending task for the Canes to figure out special teams. As soon as you think they have it, and they've been very, very good at multiple different aspects of, penalty kill and the like at different times, but it still just seems like they're constantly tweaking and constantly tinkering with it to figure out what's going on here. I still love power play, the first unit, and I expect them to do big things, but it'd be nice if they started today. And penalty kill as well. Gave up 2 goals last night, or last game, I should say. And that's not ideal, but it's just one game. I'm going to say that 100 times between now and puck drop. It was just one game. It was just one.
In the next hour and 10 minutes?
Hour, exactly. I'll be listening to Adam Gold on Stormwatch. It's just one game. Listening to us on Overdrive. It's just one game. And then tomorrow I'll be muttering to myself, it was just 2 games. It was just 2 games. Game number 2 between the Devils and Canes, which we've been talking about right here, 99.9 The Fan. As I mentioned just a second ago, Stormwatch with Adam Gold in about a half hour, 35 minutes. That'll be right here on 99.9 The Fan as well. And we'll be back here on 99.9 The Fan tomorrow at 3 for The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Appreciate y'all for hanging with us. One last time, a personal favor for me. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. Join the community there. Comment. Subscribe, set the alerts, share it with people. We'd greatly appreciate it. Coming up on Overdrive, we have a conversation on some fans that want to put their coaches on the hot seat across college and NFL football in North Carolina. It's going to lead off Overdrive. Enjoy. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Carolina Ford Dealers. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive